Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner.
Hey, horror fans! Once again, it is the Horror Miser Money.
Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is Jen, and Velvet's with me.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show.
Grab some popcorn and take your seat at Trivial Theater.
Remember that horror rules. And hey, horror fans, once again, it is me, the Horror Miser Money G. Welcome to another edition of the Horror Hangout live stream. First of all, of course, our dear leader to my right of me is Sean Patrick Urshan of the Horror Corner. On the bottom right, once again, is Jen and Velvet from Jen's Reviews from the Grave.
What's up, my good bitches?
Penis!
And we start off with another and our very special guest, but we definitely would like to have on this type of stream. She is the one and only Lady Sasha.
Woo! Thank you. You guys have a great intro, by the way. That's really good.
Thanks
Yeah, we have
for that one. Yeah,
I did thank Trivia Theater for that one. And unfortunately, she will not be with us tonight. So Trivia, we was, my animated girlfriend, we will miss you for the night because I'm pretty sure she would love this topic. It is because for some odd reason, weird people like us, not only do we just love horror movies and gore, but somehow we have this fascination with disturbing horror films. Don't know why. So one of the first questions I wanted to ask, why do you think us horror fans like watching sick and disgusting behavior? So since Lady Sasha, we're going to start up with you. What do you think we enjoy? I wouldn't say enjoy, but like watching disturbing horror films.
Well, for me, I feel like it's a type of horror that we can control. It's like in a controlled environment, especially so if you've ever dealt with anxiety or multiple recessions. Shout out to Gen X, like everything is like a thing with us every 20 years, recession. So horror is like the extreme horror is like the thing we can it's not like you can control it, but it feels controlled.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, it's like cathartic to watch. I guess that's my take on it.
Good take.
All right, Jen Velvet, what do you think? Why do you think we like watching disturbing horror films?
You're gonna go. I want to jump off.
Because Jen can't. Jen is just itching to talk about
You're
it.
jumping at the bit, but let me go for a second. Kind of jump off of Lady Sasha saying, like you were saying. I feel it's very much. It's a controlled environment. It's just no matter how shocking the content is, it's just a movie. They're just actors, so it can help you cope and come to terms with a lot of things. Yeah. For a recent example, not necessarily a traditional disturbing movie, but a movie like that for me recently was I saw the TV Glow, where that really just kind of hits you hard, and you feel you feel spoken to by it.
Yes.
But also it brings up a lot of traumatic experiences and traumatic memories.
Yes.
But you also feel seen by it, and you feel like you're a control for it. You're able to get by it. You're able to kind of process all of these emotions out that you were kind of bottled up through the lens of the art form.
Yes, I would very much agree with you on that. Another thing for me, or did you? I don't want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. This is your field. I just wanted to get that out because I know you're going to go for a minute.
No. I don't have much to say. No, why I evolved, and I have been since a very, very young age. I have always been attracted. The darker, the more extreme. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of shit and edgelordy stuff, but I'm talking about the good shit for now. And for me, it is comfort. And I know you guys are thinking, what the fuck is she talking about? But listen to me. Some of us didn't have the most happiest of childhood. Sometimes bad things happen in our lives. And you look at this, especially the extreme stuff, and you think, you know what? My life isn't as bad as these people. And it really is it's funny, but if you come from it, it can be very comforting. And another thing, much like you were saying, is if you have a horror, even if we're talking about zombies, whatever, we're usually talking about other things, and you can process stuff. I'm a rape victim survivor, and the rape revenge movies were my therapy. I didn't tell anyone for a long time, and the only way I could process it was through those movies, and that was all I had. And those movies literally saved my life for for a few years. And so that's why I'm attracted to it. But even before that happened to me, I just have always been drawn to it.
You always, because you sort of wanted to prove you kind of viewed it as a way to prove yourself to like the assholes at the video store, like you're just a girl, you can't like this stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't someone at a video store, because I had a friend that was actually a little older than me, was really nice, but there was somebody that like a guy, and they're like, oh, you can't, especially you're a girly girl, and it pissed me off, and I'm like, I can watch extreme shit, motherfucker, bring it on.
You took it as a challenge.
I did, and I think
know, yeah.
that day.
Yeah, that kind of piggybacks to why when I do my women in horror series, and when I ask, just like I asked you and Lady Sasha, what got you into horror? Because lots of people always say women are not supposed to like horror films. Little girls don't like horror films because of the perceived notion that little girls are nice and friendly, and they're not supposed to watch something bad and terrible is happening. But it's like they love horror just as much as anybody else.
Can I tell my little story?
Go ahead.
Women in horror. I told this on Monty's interview, but I'll say it again. I'm in my third or fourth generation now horror, because my great grandmother went to see Frankenstein, Dracula, The Mummy, all in the theater first run. My grandmother put me on to Dark Shadows, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. My mother took me to see. She's more sci-fi horror. She took me to see Aliens, Dune, The Fly. So now it's fourth generation. Women I was born into. I feel like Bane. I was birthed by horror.
You were molded by.
Yes, I was molded.
I was born into the subgenre of film.
Yeah, absolutely.
You were kind of too.
Yeah, very much, very much. Like one of my earliest memories is, I remember specifically, it was on the Sci-Fi Channel playing American Werewolf in London, and I remember that scene of him stalking the businessman through the subway. That's like an ingrained memory in my brain. That's like one of my first memories, and I remember the Sci-Fi Channel logo specifically there.
What? But my counter question. Sorry. My counter question to this has always been, because Monty, you said it, little girls are supposed to be sweet and nice. Why does that cancel out the sweet and nice things? Because we've known a lot of women in horror, and they're usually some of the horror people in general are some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. So why does that cancel it out? Just because we like decapitation and other fucked up shit?
That is both whatever good common society views, especially for women.
Because but it's kind of a dumb thing if you think about it, because we're not, actually going out and murdering people. We just, it's cathartic. It lets off some steam.
It's not something, say, the true crime podcast girlies of the modern day really get nearly as much as, say, as a lot of what extreme horror fans for women.
Yeah, and men are usually turned off, with women who like horror.
Meanwhile, all of them are complaining about how they can't relate to women or have no hobbies that they can share with women.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like, I know guys just were really turned off when I would show them some of my movies.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what you show them, because I made a mistake of showing someone Yorosoki Doji, The Legend of the Overfiend, and they were like,
oh.
I would have asked for a second date.
I don't think that's the right film you date.
Yeah, I didn't realize how extreme that was for some people.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I tried to show someone High Tension.
Oh.
Someone that's not a horror buff that knows that's like
they weren't a horror. And I'm just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
Tony Man says that was me. I showed him that movie. Yes.
Oh man, I feel sorry for you, Tony. Yeah, you got to be in the right mind to show somebody that film.
Oh, Larry the Open.
But you guys are horror guys like Monty and Sean. Like, would it have turned you off if like a woman would have showed you one of those films or something to the equivalent? Would it have turned you guys off?
Hell yeah.
I would have turned me off. I would have turned and say, "Whoa, wow. Someone like something like someone." I see another person's got a morbid sense of humor like I do. I've been happy.
Exactly. Like, oh, am I falling in love here?
What about you? because your partner isn't really a horror person.
They're not a massive horror fan, but like we still like share our stuff, and I know their limits and like what's okay to show them and what maybe to pull back. Like maybe I don't pull out Martyrs on the on a first date and stuff, But
no, it's just like this, Kelly. She's definitely not a horror fan, even though she did love Sinners, but that was because it was more than just a horror film. But there was no way in the world I would show her Martyrs or any other horror pictures that I've seen, because she definitely would look at me funny.
Everyone has their limits, and it's fine to have them and talk about them and respect them, as long as there's no like judgment for someone who can't handle extreme stuff or someone who can like only watches extreme stuff. As long as there's a mutual respect there, and not trying to force one into being the other way. There's no problem.
No, well, Marty's still kind of pissed about letting my puppets go.
Oh my god!
Oh no! Here's our good Irish man. Yeah, join it. Yes, so I wish you would have joined the stream. Look at Strange Monkey said, "I touched his for the whole family."
Thank you.
Exactly. It's a whole family that gets brutally murdered. Fun.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna laugh, but I honestly thought, well, this is kind of a romantic film because we open up with a getting a head from a head, and so I thought it was kind of romantic. I was seriously thinking.
I don't think doing that with the decapitated head is not.
I think that's just a you thing, hon. I think that's just a you thing.
When you said head from a head, I immediately thought of Reanimator.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the first time it's been done.
No.
All right, Sean. What do you think we like looking at real sick, depraved stuff?
Well, yeah, it does. I guess it does kind of go back to childhood. I had some rough, dark times. I'm not saying like, oh, feel sorry for me or anything, but but so I kind of escaped through the movies, through the cinema, and there's different ways that disturbing can affect you. Like, my favorite type of horror is realistic horror, so that's what really draws me. It's something that can really happen in real life, and real life can be very, very disturbing at times. Something that's
like Jaws.
Something that's so disturbing, but it can actually happen, kind of draws me to it. But like they said back in Last House on the Left, you can keep telling yourself it's just a movie.
It's only a movie.
It's
only a movie.
You can always turn off.
It's only a movie. I like what Tony said. Yeah, definitely. He had a lot of, I would say, my favorite saying when I first saw Men was, "What the hell?"
Oh man.
What the hell? What the hell?
Oh.
I like that one scene.
Meanwhile, our scene there going like, "Yep, all of my suspicions about Alex Garland all these years have been proven correct."
I like the ending of Men. There should be like an Oscars that's specifically only for FX.
Yeah, that was important.
Yeah, that's
different categories of effects. Like there should be like a some type of award ceremony because they get so ignored.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because that was definitely some practical effects at that end of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's just like Lady Sasha, what you said. It's more like an escapism, because one, for me, it's like I know it's not real, it's fake, it's not real, it's very good practical effects. There's no way in the world some of this stuff can't happen. Biologically speaking, like say, just like with the human centipede, there's no way in the world a person can do what we see in that particular film. It looks it's very disgusting. It's disturbing. It looks flat out creepy as hell. And obviously, the doctor that he played, the doctor, he just looks like he just does a great job. Yeah, he looks great because he looks creepy as hell, and it looks like he's getting off of seeing what's happening. But I think that's
part 2.
Which goes even harder.
Yeah, I prefer.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about that later. I think that's more gory than anything else.
But I love my favorite thing. I'm not a big fan of part 2, but I do love the fact
baby.
No, I cannot remember the name of the actor, but the one who played the doctor in that movie, he was like he was bullied a lot of his life. He was shunned a lot of his life because he wasn't a very conventional man and stuff. And then he starred in that movie, and now like he goes to conventions and people love and celebrate him and stuff.
Yeah.
And he like it's super wholesome and sweet and sincere. And and they love him for playing this fucking mad, mad inhuman beast. In a fucked up movie about sewing people ass to mouth. Like it's such a weirdly wholesome thing of like through disturbing cinema, he found a community that like loved and supported him unconditionally.
Yeah, that's one of the powerful things about horror and the horror community.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, look what your boyfriend said.
Scorfield Nightmare Fuel, but Jen, my queen, my like me should be another movie with Papa jerking off because I fucking lose it.
Yeah.
Oh man, just don't show him that other puppet movie that darn it, what's that
Meet the Feebles?
Meet the Feebles?
Not the Feebles. Not the
Happy
Feebles.
Time
Another one.
Murders?
Well, Melissa McCarthy starred in
Happy Time Murders.
Oh, I know what
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Puppet Murders, yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm gonna show that to him.
The puppet prostitutes were hilarious.
Yeah.
They were.
Right.
I liked it.
Now, obviously, when it comes to disturbing horror films, why do you think the French always make very good disturbing horror films than American films? All right, Marty. I mean, not Marty. Jen, Velvet.
I'll let you go.
Okay. The French extremity movement is such a fascinating point in horror history, and like a lot of horror movements in horror, you really can tie it back to the environment that it was made in. The French economy was tanking at the point where a lot of those movies were made. There was a lot of civil unrest. There was a lot of issues around immigration and stuff. There was a lot of issues going on in France and Europe around that time, and you had that crop of new young blood directors wanting to prove themselves and going, this is all super fucked up. I'm gonna take all of these ideas that I'm seeing in my day-to-day life and incorporate it into my art. And I think that's just, I don't think they, and Aja at least has always talked about how he never really set out to make the movies as extreme as he did back during his French extremity days. It just sort of naturally came out that way, and I think that kind of speaks to the environment that they were made in.
Yes, and I also think as a culture, the French are a lot more freer than a lot of other cultures. And so you want us to go ball the walls, motherfucker? We'll show you some stuff, and we'll do it in a very arty way, but not, in a very hardcore.
Yeah, like way. There's so many different ways to do it. Like you have like people like Gaspar and stuff, and Pascal who did like Martyrs and stuff. Yeah. Or you have like Aja or the Inside team who just kind of went like fucking balls to the wall Sam Raimi school of filmmaking. You had other ones who were a bit more tactful and a little bit more introspective.
Yes, Fat Girl is a wonderful example of that.
Exactly.
The French extremities movies are fucking some of my favorites. In fact, I know this is a controversial opinion, but I adore High Tension.
It's one of your favorite flicks.
It's one of my favorite flicks of all time. And but it's the gore scenes. The scene that always stands out that actually unnerved me, and there's very few films that I can say have unnerved me. It's that scene where she is trying to hide. She's like making sure that is such a tension.
That cat and mouse between the two of them.
And I was actually nervous. That's one of the few movies I was holding on. I didn't realize it, but I was holding on to my covers, and I was like, "Oh, I hope she doesn't get caught. I hope she doesn't get caught." And it's such a cool movie. Now, granted, the movie does fall apart.
Logic's not that movie's priority, but that's a lot of French extremity. A lot of them sort of existed in this unreality.
It's more about the balls and heart as opposed to the cerebral.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of thinking stuff too, but like realistically, if you look at Martyrs, sure, they were constantly reviving these people over and over again, but realistically, enough shock, their bodies would have just completely given out long beforehand. But for the purposes of the story, it works well.
And then you have a director as the Gaspar Noé who did Irreversible. There were other films he did as well, and cinematic.
Climax was another one. Gaspar Noé.
I was here for Climax.
Climax is the only movie of his I like.
I like a standalone. That's one of his that no one ever talks about. I actually prefer standalone out of Irreversible or Climax. I like that one a lot. Gritty. Now that one's his most gritty.
Yeah, I can see it.
So.
All right. What about you, Lady Sasha? What it is about the French extreme? Why were those films so successful, and how come we don't get that much when it comes to American films? Are we that chicken?
Yes, we are, Monty.
Yeah. I'm gonna expand it just a little bit beyond France to make my point, but I think the French are not afraid to go dark, and I mean truly dark, and really showcase. Like, I always come back to Martyrs, but the director said he was in the deep throes of depression when he was writing that film, and it shows through his film, and they don't try to shy away from those feelings. And a good example of what America sometimes tries to do is like with the movie Speak No Evil, which also a great European film.
That's the one I was thinking too.
Yeah, it goes completely dark. Now, when they decided to make the American remake, they had to make changes because number one, Americans are a little bit more feisty. We're kind of not going to put up with the stuff that very, very polite European family put up with. So they definitely had to make those changes. But they also had to make the ending lighter because for some reason, and I don't even think it's us as a people. I don't think we shy away from it. I think it's the producers that are from a different generation. They think that we will not like it, even though we're literally watching foreign movies and loving it. But they still have this old concept that if we make it that way, the American public won't like it. No, we're already watching these movies. We already like these movies. This is also why I'm straying away from France for a hot second here. But this is also why I have very low expectations for the American version of Train to Busan.
Yes. Oh my god, that movie's gonna suck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the only horror movie that made me cry. Like it made me tear up and cry. I don't think they're going to do that in the American version. I have no faith that they will keep the ending that way.
No, absolutely.
Unfortunately.
For me, the one thing what you said with Speak No Evil, because I heard a lot of people who, one, didn't even realize it was a fucking remake, and they were saying, oh, we loved it. We thought it was great, and I was just sitting there screaming because I loved that movie.
That was like your number one or number two that
My
year.
number two of that year. I fucking love that movie, and I was just screaming, and I'm like, you fucking idiots, really? Because the movie goes so fucking dark in the original, and that American just, it's bullshit. I fucking hate that remake. Oh, it was great in it.
Yeah, she did not like. She did not like See No Evil. No,
I love the original.
She went on one of her gen rants.
I can't believe I forgot. I took a left turn into European horror. I should have mentioned Martyrs is the reason I started my channel. Because that movie had me messed up for a week, and then the remake.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yes, and the remake was so offensively bad. My very first video is about how that Martyrs remake is disrespectful. Are we allowed to curse on here, Monty?
Yeah.
Oh, trust me. Yeah, look, she keeps saying penis all the time.
Yeah, I had forgot I even reviewed the remake to Martyrs because it was so bad. I put it. It's like a part of my brain said, you know what, block out the trauma.
It didn't happen.
Which is ironic because you'd think the original Martyrs would be more traumatic.
No, same. No, I remember like that was like one of those big movies that I was like, oh my fucking god, was that American remake of Martyrs? Because that original film I hold very near and dear. That like that original film is like in that circle of my like top 15, top 20 favorite horror films.
Yeah.
And that American remake, it's just like every single thing about that movie. Just it's one of, I have a very short list of movies that I genuinely fully hate as a piece of film and as a piece of art. Martyrs remake is really high on that list of movies that I genuinely actually hate.
Yeah.
Martyrs never die.
Oh, God.
Actually.
The one I can also kind of that's another American remake that and it's a director that I really like, but God, did they get it wrong? Was Old Boy. Old Boy. And I love the director.
I heard the American remake of Old Boy was terrible.
Yeah.
I have not seen the original Old Boy, but I heard
you gotta check it out.
One of the best films ever made.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think he's responsible for all these movies trying to copy that hallway fight. Even Marvel tries to copy that hallway fight from Old Boy.
Yeah, and none have done it better.
No.
What about you, Sean? Have you seen? I'm pretty sure you've seen some of the French Extremes movies.
I haven't seen a whole lot of them. I did see High Tension, of course, but most of the like French horror movies I've seen are like the old 70s ones that they're not all that extreme. This is like sleazy more than anything, but I haven't seen a whole lot of the extreme ones, honestly. But I really enjoyed High Tension. I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't extreme to the point where
Is
I
that
couldn't
Barney?
couldn't
Am I
stomach
seeing in
it
your
or
background, Sasha?
No, that's actually the African Zuni warrior.
Yeah, it's a
from
Zuni
Village
doll.
of Terror.
Okay. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That is awesome.
that is awesome.
My
You
favorite,
got a critter there, a critter.
Mhm.
my second favorite killer doll outside of Megan.
Really,
Although I-
Monty? Really? Really?
Although I think the Zuni doll can kick both Chucky and Megan's ass. You don't want to mess with the Zuni doll.
No.
Well, they
Yes.
should totally
You
kick
don't want to
Megan's
trust,
ass.
trust me. I wish you.
Bad
That's what I want.
juju.
A remake of Trilogy of Terror with the Zuni doll. That's what I'm looking for.
I
I
can
would love
see
to.
that.
We got a part 2.
Yeah, we got a
didn't
part 2.
Yeah.
I can go for
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
a
I
new-
know that. Yeah, I know the
Cool.
sequel to Trilogy of Terror. Yeah, but I want an actual modern remake.
There's
Of
an
the Zuni
unofficial one by Full Moon called Ooga Booga. Like
Oh my god,
it
Ooga
was,
Booga.
but
Oh, I
they
forgot about
made
that
the
thing.
little doll look as much like that as they could without infringing on copyright.
Yeah.
Oh,
Legally
you
distinct.
had
Zuni
to
doll.
bring that movie up.
Sean, have you seen? Because it is a French one. It's from the '60s. But have you seen Eyes Without a Face? Because that one's for the time. It's
Yes.
funny,
That's the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
one.
that one's another
Yeah, I
one.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Actually,
big
the-
influence on Halloween, apparently.
Mhm.
Early
Yeah.
that era, like '60s movies of French, also because you also had stuff like Diabolique that really pushed
Yes.
the envelope as well around that same time.
Yeah.
And also, and both movies also got garbage American remakes in the '90s.
Oh God! Even Chaz Palminteri couldn't save that
Oh.
fucking movie.
Oh, '90s
Fucking
Diabolique.
hell!
Yeah,
Still
it,
better
it,
than the Martyrs remake.
That's not a high bar, but yes.
yeah, it's like just when I saw Martyrs and then Raw and all the other ones, especially with Raw, I'm like, man,
Oh.
they are really going there with some, especially the I think one of the most shocking endings I saw in the movie outside of the mist is Raw. Is Raw. I'm
I
like,
love-
what?
You do.
I love the modern wave of directors like Corley Farge and the
Mhm.
director of Raw and Titan, who are taking direct influence from that first wave of French extremities and kind of reviving it and bringing it back with their own, with a modern feel, stuff like Titan, Raw, Revenge.
Revenge is one.
Yeah,
Oh man.
like I'm loving this current wave of like it's a lot smaller than the original wave of French extremity, but I'm loving the small revival that French extremity is getting.
What is that one French movie that came out? I didn't care for it. You liked it. Very stylistic, which I
Could
acknowledge.
be a couple movies. nothing's coming to mind immediately.
It was like last year or the year before, and I cannot
Okay.
remember the name.
I'll see if I can think of it. Oh, is it the one that was done in one shot?
Yes.
Oh. What was that movie called? It was a zombie movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
You know,
I know. Was it on Shudder?
It was
Yes.
a Shudder movie, yeah.
And it was kind of a lot of it was like it was very frenetically filmed.
It was done in a single take, yeah. What was that movie?
What is it? See, they should have given a better name because why can we all remember the movie but not the name?
Yeah, it was a really generic title. I remember I had to, when I put it, because it was an honorable mention for me last year, I had to put in my notes specifically to remind myself which one it was because it's a generic title.
The director had a lot of skill. I didn't care
Yeah.
for it, but it had a
I
lot of
believe
skill.
that director also was like an old school. I believe that's the director of Frontiers. So it's an
Oh,
an
really?
older French
Mm.
extremity director too.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
To bring back High Tension, and because a lot of people give that film crap because of the twist.
Mhm.
It didn't fool me because there's a scene that takes place when whatchamacallit's in the bedroom and she's looking at her her friend and something happens. So try not to get too graphic. Something happens, so it's no surprising when the twist comes. So I don't know why people are getting crap about that. It's like, did you see the movie? You understand the reason why? Now, obviously, we didn't know that she had a split personality, but then again, it kind of makes sense.
The actor playing her split personality was also generally
The
very
male,
creepy.
yeah.
Was actually like if you saw him in a dark alley late at night, I would be like, just
I'm gone. Bye.
bye.
Nope.
And I don't get creeped out, but he was creepy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was definitely creepy. Yeah, you got to give him credit. Look at Marty said the original "We Are What We Are" is amazing. The remake left me wondering. It seems like it looks like American movie theaters, American filmmakers simply don't want to push the edge. Some do, but most don't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think it's the marketing thing. especially when they discovered that if they made something PG-13, they could increase the audience.
Exactly.
So they try to kind of gut everything. That's where I will give the director Terrifier credit by keeping himself independent. He's been able to keep his
Do
movies
anything he
rated the
wants,
way
yeah.
he wants. I just wish he'd get an editor, because I swear
Yeah.
he's threatening to give
no.
us a 3-hour Terrifier movie, and I'm like,
Oh
don't
no,
need it for that
no,
long.
no,
I'm so not.
We don't need it for that long.
no. Come
Are
on.
we
I mean,
gonna
it's
do another
one
long
of
movie? I didn't hear that.
God,
Okay.
please, no.
Okay.
Yeah, because I love the
No,
kills in
that was-
Terrifier, but he's stretchy, drags them out.
He's
Terrifier
an-
movie should be 77 minutes long. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
should be 77
No, but
minutes
the
long.
last one was better.
It was better, but
What?
still, I feel like ran too fucking long. Still,
It
Yeah.
was the main
Yeah.
problem. It went too long.
Yeah.
It was too long.
That's
Yeah.
why I like the first one. It was just a normal length, you know,
Yeah.
just right, you know, for a
Mhm.
slasher.
Mhm.
Mads was the movie I was thinking.
Yes.
Mads.
Yeah.
Yes,
Of. Yes,
that's
that was
the
the
one.
movie I was thinking of.
If you ever want to
no.
see someone getting eaten by a zombie while driving a motorcycle,
God, there's so many moments in that movie that was like so shocking. Like, there's a point because that movie was shot entirely in one take, and they did it multiple times over multiple different nights. The take they finally ended up using, they mistimed a character running through train tracks. They did not realize there was a train coming, but she just booked it past those tracks because she knew, fuck, the last hour and a half would have been for nothing if I don't do this.
Oh,
So
wow.
fucking death-defying shit. But no, God damn, Leon's such a complicated person for me. Like,
Yes. it's like you want to root for him, and then he comes out and says, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is politics and horror," and it's like, have you been paying attention to horror
have you
for the
been
last 100
paying
years?
attention remotely to anything? You.
But he
It's-
said that
it's
about his
political.
movies. He goes, I'm the clown guy. Don't expect.
It's just the fact that he said that in response to like his actors standing up for like trans rights and like gay and stuff like that. It's like, oh no, I don't want to alienate audiences. I'm like, dude, fucking have a goddamn spine. You're siding with the people who would want to ban and fucking and ban your goddamn movie. What are you doing?
Your actor, your lead actor.
Yeah, you're going against the reason why you have a job, because it's not your directing skill. The reason people like your movies is entirely because of your actor.
Yes,
That's
Art the Clown. If you can't support Art the Clown, then
Yeah,
what
what the
do?
fuck are you doing, dude? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, like fantastic.
I noticed he's very
terrible
political.
writer, mediocre director.
What do you say, Sean?
Yeah.
I noticed David Howard Thornton is very political.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Very
very much
outspoken
for-
in his Facebook and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Which,
Yeah, 'cause
I
then-
like it. I like it when people are for equal rights.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Well, I
just to bring back the PG-13, that the one thing that irritates me about that is when you see films like The Bye Bye Man. You know,
Oh my god, the Bye Bye Man.
Oh my god!
Man.
Well, there's one I do have to defend. It's a guilty pleasure. And that's Wish Upon. I know it's trash.
Same.
I know
Actually,
it's trash,
same
but it's
though.
so fun. It
It's
reminds
such a
me
fun
of
movie.
Velvet. Have you seen Mirror Mirror?
Yes, I have seen Mirror
That's
Mirror.
what it reminds me of. It's
I
like
can
the
see it.
new
Yeah, I
Mirror
can
Mirror.
totally see that.
What's upon me? It's okay. I didn't have a problem with it.
It's
It's
not
just
a great
it's
film,
not-
but it's fun.
it's not great, but it's not bad. It has its moments, but again, the PG-13 held it. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it could have been a
Yes, it did.
decent horror film if it wasn't for a goddamn PG-13.
But then I tell myself, everything isn't for everybody. And you know what?
Mhm.
I would have loved, I mean, really, as much as I enjoy it now, I really would have loved Wish Upon at 10 years old. And I feel like
Same,
10-year-olds need horror to
Mhm.
watch. They don't have Goosebumps on television anymore. They don't have Tales from the Crypt. They don't have, there's like nothing for them right
Yeah.
now.
There's not a lot of gateway horror, and that's kind of been
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of bugs me a little bit. There's not that safe entry level horror for younger
Yeah.
audiences really anymore. It's really just okay. Show them older stuff that you grew up on, really.
That's true.
Mhm.
Well, there are a few things. I still fucking say, the Dark Harvest is a fucking wonderful scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yeah,
That's another good one.
Scary Stories is like the last notable example that I can attempt at that, and that movie bombed horribly at the box office.
I know, and not
But
everyone.
Dark Harvest, the one where the boys get
Yes.
locked up in a room and then they get let out. One,
Yeah, it's the one with the Halloween. Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah,
was
that's
good.
the one.
Yeah,
Yeah. I couldn't get into it. I
I
tried.
loved it.
That movie's great.
Okay. But if you want to go, like, if you want to go balls to the walls, that's American. Go independent. Go independent.
Fantasy's always been
Yes.
Mhm.
Go
You're
independent.
not
That's where
gonna-
you're going to find your gems if you're looking for hardcore stuff.
You're not going to find the more extreme stuff in the mainstream stuff, Blumhouse, or even like your more almost like weird second tier independent stuff like your A24 or your Neon that like or in that weird gray area of like mainstream and independent. You're still not going to find much there that really pushes beyond.
Yeah, because most of those, if you do see some disturbing films that are made by American film companies, mostly the independents.
Yes.
Yeah, like the A24s and the Neons.
Yeah,
Like
I
an Ari Aster type film.
Yes.
And it only gets successful by word of mouth, like
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
the substance. Or
But don't let Ari Aster do his own work.
What about we need there's something about the Johnsons.
Oh my God!
Yes, that's the first time I heard about Ari Aster. Was there something about the Johnstons?
That is my
Yeah.
favorite thing that man has ever made. That is such a fucked up short.
Well, there are some people like you who look at it more as a comedy.
Yeah, it's super. Like it is the blackest of black comedies, but it is a black comedy at the end of the day. And I would love to see that version of Ari Aster come back. Like I love Hereditary.
Midsummer
has grown on me. Beau is Afraid is
I still need to see it.
interesting. But I
have to say something about Beau is Afraid. I completely understand because I mentioned it earlier. Beau is Afraid is specifically about anxiety. And there's certain scenes that are like, if your intrusive thoughts were actually happening around you, that's what it would look like.
Yeah.
That scene where he's trying to get home and he's trying to race to his door before the homeless guy gets there. That's an intrusive thought that's being displayed on the screen. And I'm like, yeah, this is if someone actually physically took anxiety and put a film about it.
That's what I got from the film. I mean, nothing wrong with Joaquin Phoenix. He does a great job acting. It's just the film, it just goes every which way but loose.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very much more of a vibe than a full-on like proper narrative, really, a lot of the time.
Mhm.
One of these days.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, but like I would love to see there's something up about the Jeffersons Ari Aster for like a big picture thing. I'd love to see that version of Ari Aster do something again.
I don't know.
Oh, he never could. He would have to go full on like independent 100% through and through. There's no way he could get a movie version of that film released. There's no way that he could get that thing released to the public.
Oh wow.
That's the thing is as
go
good
ahead,
as like Midsommar is and Hereditary, I wouldn't really call them extreme horror.
No.
Hereditary
maybe pushing the limits of mainstream, but
Yeah.
I agree.
And it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
because it's like a niche kind of market, and a mainstream studio is not going to want to cater to a niche audience. They want to make big money,
Yeah.
Agree. Tony Man says, I saw a picture on Instagram of 55-gallon barrel and someone posted, I found Megan.
Megan is missing, right?
Megan is missing.
Oh my God.
As Megan is missing.
Yeah.
That is where we hit to fucking try hard edgelord. And Megan is missing, and fucking Lucifer Valentine. Those are where you get your, because they have that too. That's the side of extreme too.
Is
and
the edgelord try hard? Look at me,
Yeah.
I'm so dark and brutal.
and it's a fine line.
I'm just gonna make a movie about torturing women for the next fucking 2 hours.
Yeah,
and claim that it's
and there are some great films that do similar things, but you can tell, you can feel, and oh my God, Megan is missing is such fucking bullshit.
Still one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Just bury the bitch. I have things to do.
Do you remember when it went viral on TikTok last year? So people were posting it out of context, and younger teenagers that were 13 really thought it was a real video. And also someone uploaded it to YouTube without context. And it got so viral that the director had to come on to TikTok and record himself making a message saying, this is just a film. It is not real. You should talk to your parents before watching anything like this. Like,
But no, I remember being weirded out because you did a video about that movie long before, like a couple of years beforehand. And suddenly one day that video started doing gangbusters. We started getting like hundreds of views per day on it. I was like, why is that taking off all?
It was a good video.
It was a good video. I was happy about the video came up. Then suddenly
you may have watched Be My Cat.
Oh, that's why that video's doing gangbusters now.
You watch
we
Be My Cat?
Yeah, it's on Tubi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tubi has Be My Cat, Martyrs. What else is on there for your children to watch for free? No, it's on Tubi.
It also has in a glass cage.
That's
It has
on
in a
Tubi
glass
also.
cage. It has some of Shion Sano's films. It has some Takeshi Miike
I
stuff
love-
on there. Yeah.
I love
You
Tubi,
just
man.
gotta
They have
get-
everything.
They got
Tubi
they got
is a
some weird
great
shit on there.
resource for finding
That's for
stuff.
sure.
Just have a look.
Mhm.
But the thing
Okay.
is, sorry, Monty.
Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, like Jen was saying, if it's a movie like that with a whole movie is this, you know,
Mhm.
that's where I tune out. You know, if it just comes
Yeah.
to the point where it's just like torture porn or gore porn, that's when I just tune out. When it's just gore for the sake of gore, the whole movie, or you know, the whole movie is just one thing. That's when I tune out. That's when they lose me. You know.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like I need
Yeah, me
something
too.
more substance than just a bunch of gnarly practical effects and mediocre actresses screaming. I need a bit more than that. Like it's not shocking to me. It doesn't horrify me. It's just boring at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like Lucifer Valentine stuff's a good example of that.
Very much so.
Some of the weaker guinea pig films are also kind of an example of that.
August Underground.
August
Yeah.
Underground. Like I love a lot of some of the
Or
weirder
even-
out there
even-
guinea pig films, but like some of them
Or
are
even
just kinda that, yeah.
blood sucking freaks. That's
Yeah,
another film.
yeah.
There's a group of movies I haven't watched because I have a feeling that that's what they are. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I keep seeing the Gore Vomit Doll trilogy.
Yes, that's
And I have not watched them because I'm like,
You know
I
what?
don't see where the story is here, so I'm gonna
There's
skip.
there's no story.
Black Metal Veins, I guess, is their best. I guess on a technical, but even then he's a piece of
Yeah,
shit.
Lucifer Valentine, like every single thing that man made an entire career off of showing the world how big of a piece of shit he is, and then it took 20 years for people to go, wait a second, this guy's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah, and not a particularly good director.
No.
Or at least with Megan is Missing, I will give it. The one scene in that movie that I thought was pretty fucked, and it's just because you know some assholes have done this, is the scene where he makes her get in with the decomposing friend.
Yeah.
That is psychologically
It's
fucked
like the
up.
one moment that movie kind of works.
Yeah.
hmm Okay, I'm pretty sure we have a lot to talk about when I say a suburban film.
Oh, Serbian film.
I have not seen it.
Oh.
You have not seen it, Sean?
It's
No,
on my
only
wall,
because-
Sean. Here, it's on my freaking wall. You
Yeah,
do.
it's there.
It's the type of movie that it feels like I should be offended by, but I wasn't because the way it was executed, it just didn't. It didn't draw emotion from me. So I'm like, I get what you're trying to do, but
Yeah.
it just is not.
That's kind of how I feel. Yeah,
Now, see, I'm totally opposite of you guys. It did draw emotion from me.
that's fair.
It did, and I wasn't shocked. Like the thing was, this is the Serbian film is a movie where it had such a reputation, and if there's a trigger for me, it's either animals or kids, particularly babies. That's where I'm like, it's really hard for me. And I had heard about the infamous scene, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to see this. And then just one day, I kind of did a mental slap, and I'm like, you little fucking baby pussy bitch, you call yourself a fucking extreme horror fan? You fucking sit down and watch it, or you shut up your goddamn mouth.
All of
stuff
your
bothers
weird
me
traits
too.
as a horror fan came out and came at you.
I
attacked
did,
you.
and I sat my ass down and I watched it. And you don't enjoy that kind of movie. That's not what it's made
No.
for. But
Yeah.
filmmaking ways, I do, and the actors in it, both our villain and our hero, or lack for a better word, hero, are really, really good actors, and I'm drawn into it. It's balls to the walls. I fucking love that director.
It's I don't know. I kind of like Lady Sasha said. I kind of just was sitting there watching and going, okay, you're putting all of this shocking stuff in. I should, but I don't. It doesn't have an emotional resonance with me. I don't really like. I can understand and get where you would feel that way about like Milo and his plight and stuff. And
Yes.
yeah, it really sucks.
And he's
But
just
it
trying
doesn't-
to be good, do something for
It
his
feels
family.
like it puts shock value over character for me, really. Like we get a little bit of Milo in the beginning, but after a certain point, he's not much of a character. He just it's just vignette after vignette of horrible things happen to him. That's the kind of the issue I have with that movie, for me at least.
the scene, and there were some shocking scenes. There's the scene where the little boy finds some of his porno stuff, and you like him as a parent because he doesn't go overboard. He explains it and tries to on his highest level. And I'm like, you're a good dad. Why is he doing this? He wants to provide for his family. And so on that, and the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And this is a great example of that. And I just really, and then you got the brother that is so creepy. And then the scene at the end. It worked for me. I know I get a lot of shit because people get really offended when I say I actually really like
it's probably like probably one of the last truly taboo films.
Yeah, and I don't like it, but as a film, I respect it. Although I do not believe that director who said we had no idea.
Oh my god, he's such a fucking liar with that he didn't think it was going to shock people.
But it's so charming. Like I'm like I don't believe you, bro. But here, high five.
I respect him for sticking with that story for so long. But God, he's a liar.
I like him.
Oh yeah. What about you, Lady Sasha? What did you thought about a suburban film?
Oh, the same thing. Like it's done for shock value, and I think the director also said that there was something that he was commenting on about the Serbian government.
Yeah.
Because I'm not well versed enough in Serbian politics, I couldn't get the context of that. So I wouldn't rewatch it. It was just kind of boring to me. I was like, oh yeah, you did, that crazy stuff with the pregnant lady and the baby. I should feel some type of way about it and shocked, but I'm not. I'm just like, good effects, but
But don't you think the theme of it, and it's not just a Serbian, I think anywhere, like life fucks you from birth to death and even after death. I think it's
when you put it that way.
I'll give you that. It is a good metaphor. I just don't know if it was executed exceptionally well.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I get where you guys go, and I'm in the very minority. I get a lot. Someone got pissed because they saw the fucking poster on my wall.
Yeah, we got multiple comments complaining about you having that poster up.
Yeah.
About necromantic? Tell me you've never watched necromantic.
No one's ever
necromantic.
It's always a Serbian film.
That should let them know, hey, this is the person that is well versed in extreme horror.
Yeah. That's kind of what that's there for, is to like say, hey, we know what we're talking about a little bit with extreme stuff when we talk about extreme shit.
Yeah, because when I saw it once and I said, okay, that's shock value. Wasn't expecting to see that, but that's a shock value. And it's like I understand why people will be offended by it because of the things. But there's other films I've seen, I think, even though this is called the most disturbing film of all time, but I'm sure there's other more disturbing films besides
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are. I'd have to
you can say, like we can say there's far worse stuff out there, far more shocking.
Trust me, there's more worse stuff out there.
Yeah, there's stuff that has emotionally wrecked me. This didn't emotionally wreck me, but it did resonate with me.
I can understand that. I can understand that, yeah.
Sean, have you purposely stayed away from it, or is it just one you haven't gotten to see? Or is it one that you're like, nah, I'm good?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fair.
Word of mouth, I've kind of avoided it.
No, I totally get you.
Like you were saying about when kids are put in danger and stuff like that, like
that's fair.
That does bother me. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but
But the infamous scene was handled as tastefully as that scene could, because they don't show anything.
I guess it could have been like in a more tryout, like in Lucifer Valentine's hands. I could only imagine how bad that scene would have gone. Yeah.
But Sean, I can get it because I'm kind of like that with cats. Like I was on edge watching. Oh God, what's the movie? Bring Her Back.
No.
When the cat was in danger, I was like, oh no, don't hurt the kitty. And then meanwhile,
I had the same reaction too, because like, oh no, don't hurt the pootie cat. Leave the pootie cat alone. Put the pootie cat down.
That's universal of all horror fans. So, oh God, the dog. Oh God, the cat.
Yeah,
no,
it's just the universal thing. We'll see all kinds of fucked up shit, but as soon as the animal's in danger, we get fucking destroyed. Yeah. I've never met a horror fan that isn't that way.
Yeah, and it's a red flag if they are.
Yeah. Like actually, I have met like one or two, and they all did turn out to be fucking pieces of shit. So yeah.
I don't know if y'all guys saw this, but this was on the list. It's called the 2007 The Girl Next Door.
Yes, it's based off the Jack Ketchum book.
Yeah. There's two movies based off of that.
American Crime, and they're both really good.
Yeah, they're very different, but very good.
If you watch the true crime story,
American Crime, right? Yeah.
If you watch the true crime story, like of what really happened to I think Sylvia Likens, is she the girl? Yeah. It's horrible what this. To be fair, you also fell asleep during oh god, what was that Cronenberg film? Crimes of
Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of
Crimes of
Future, yeah.
Well, I
You
can
fell asleep on
understand that.
one
That
too.
film was boring.
That's a very slow film, so I can understand that one.
I
yeah.
understand that, yeah, because that was not one of his best ones.
Yeah, as someone who loves that movie, I can totally see falling asleep on that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
the
for
bunny
everyone.
killer thing.
Bunny the Killer
Cronenberg,
thing.
Cronenberg
Yeah.
has a couple that get under my skin.
Have you guys seen Bunny the Killer thing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have not.
I don't consider it disturbing.
No, it's not. It's way too
It's-
stupid.
Yes, it's very silly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Sean was
the
about to
title
say-
alone sounds silly.
Sean was about to say about Cronenberg having a couple of disturbing ones.
Oh,
That really got under my skin. Yeah,
What, The Brood?
Master of
That's
Autism.
one of them. Yeah,
The Brood is great.
and
Oh, I
Shivers.
understand The Brood, yeah.
Shivers.
I love
Shivers, yeah.
Bird's great. Shivers. Video
Yeah,
Drums
that
always
one
was my
too.
favorite.
Yes, video.
Messed up.
Mhm.
I will never not find it funny that you have a movie like Videodrome starring James Woods, and yet he's turned out to be the exact thing that movie was criticizing.
Exactly.
In a funny way.
But then he's also, but I love that he can flip a switch. I fucking love A History of Violence.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Cronenberg can do a lot of there's a lot of weirder movies in there that really do flip a switch. Yeah,
Now,
that's
this
another
is
one I
not
would say probably falls into the fucked up category pretty well.
Very much so.
Yeah.
this is not a Cronenberg movie, but Cronenberg's acting in it was a little bit disturbing to me. If you've seen Nightbreed, when
Yes.
Decker.
he
Yeah.
played
One of my
Decker.
favorite villains. in
Yeah,
the
that
world.
was creepy.
No, a perfect example of gaslighting. Decker's one of my favorite villains in horror. I love that movie.
And that's a very cerebral movie.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the themes.
Oh, you
Hey, man, Videodrome is not boring.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
I will
boring.
not. I will not stand for this. No.
Video Drone is not boring.
No, you cannot have a movie where there's a scene of James Woods whipping a TV with fucking prosthetic tits coming out of it and say it's boring. No.
Now, I think that this is the most disturbing film I've seen, and that is Salo, or the 100 Days
Oh,
of the
Salo.
120 Days of Sodom. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get any more disturbing than that film.
Oh.
The term "eat shit and die" and "eat shit and live" sticks in my head when I think of Salo. Oh my god!
I know that when I first saw that film, the first thing that came to mind was my grandmother had this thing that would say a whole bunch of curse words, and I was about 13 or 14, and she would punch the thing and it would say, "You're an asshole. You're an asshole." And the next thing he said, "Eat shit, eat shit." And the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that was that thing saying, "Eat shit."
Literally.
I could not understand that film.
Salo's such an interesting movie for me. It's not a movie I particularly like, but it's one of those movies that I respect so madly.
It's like Serbian film for me.
Because that
isn't it?
movie's production, the director of that film literally died so it could exist. Because he made that movie as a massive fuck you to fascist regimes and all that stuff. And he literally got targeted by a Nazi sympathization group, and they killed him for it, after the movie came out. So he literally died for that movie to exist. And I respect him for that and everything that movie stands for.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if it turned out to be a particularly great film, though. Sadly, it's a hard one to say.
For me, this is one when we are having the extreme movie conversation that I get a little quiet on because, like you, I'm mad respect for it, and especially thinking about it now, those themes are very
relevant.
timely.
Sadly so.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think they're even more timely right now than when the film was fucking made. And but really, honestly, there are some other horrific things that happen in the movie than the eating shit scene, but they don't stick, and that's the only thing anyone ever talks about that film for.
I think it's due to the fact of it's not a character film. There's no central person you could follow along for. It's just showing the horrors that happened in Nazi Germany and what they were able to get away with for so long. So from that side, I entirely respect it and get it. But as a narrative, it's not a particularly good one because there's no through line. There's no proper thing. It's just we follow these characters in absolute misery for the next 100 days. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's not a particular favorite of mine, believe it or
Yeah,
not.
it's a piece of art I respect more so than I like.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same.
I actually recommend people watch it, especially more now.
Especially now, 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah, especially what's going on right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Even though it was initially intended to talk about fascism as it applies to the Nazi era in Italy and Germany. Right now, I feel like it applies to the oligarchy that's happening right in the U.S.
Yes,
and their
100%.
treatment of the youth. Like everything that young people need, they're kind of like, "Fuck you, you don't get that. Fuck you, you don't get that." And it's kind of has that same premise. So I wish more people would watch it for that reason, not so much for like how extreme it may feel. I don't even think Velva would be perfect person to ask this. Does it even feel extreme to your generation?
No, I don't think it does. I don't really think it does, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I can't speak for every member of my generation, but I don't think so, really.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. Like, I get this. Like, sure, we aren't literally being forced to eat shit and stuff, but like, yeah, okay, I can see,
But you kind of are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, metaphorically, yeah,
Figuratively, they are. They're being
absolutely. So, yeah, no, I can't speak for all of my generation, but I can definitely say, like, at least from my stance and the people I've talked about it from my generation who have seen Sallow, no, it doesn't really come off as that shocking. It's just like, yeah, okay. I get where you're coming from.
Well, you were at the protest on Saturday, and you saw. I mean, they were fucking. Some of them, you said, they were pretty much goddamn Nazis there.
Oh yeah,
basically.
No, there was literally
Christian Nazis.
There was literally someone going on, not to go on a political stand, but there was literally someone going on there about how the Holocaust allegedly happened and Hitler was allegedly a bad guy. So yeah, that kind of gives you the idea of where things are at right now.
There was a movie that I kind of thought that way, and that was The Passion of the Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it felt like, I don't know if this is a good movie, but it certainly is effective and shocking, and it makes you think, you know, wow, what he really went through, you know. But at the same time, it's like almost like exploitive in a way.
Incredibly exploitative, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, damn, he's getting this brutally beaten and tortured for 2 freaking hours, you know. It's like,
because the only things I get, the only movie presentation about Jesus Christ and the crucifixion was Ben-Hur, and that was the only thing I saw growing up.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah,
the Ben-Hur, not that terrible remake, but the original Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
You guys want to hear about some exploitive stuff? Here in Orlando, there was a theme park called Holy Land.
I know about Holy Land.
They would do a crucifixion at noon every day.
Every day.
That's just crazy.
You can time your watch to it. You can sync your watch to it.
Yeah, like why would you pay to go see someone get crucified every day? Come on, how is that fun? No.
Kids are gonna miss the crucifixion.
Who the well thought they want to see something like that every day?
I don't
know. We're fucked up.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now that's disturbing.
That's fucked up. That's super fucked up, especially to market that to kids. Jesus Christ. Literally.
Imagine your family took you to that in Orlando, and SeaWorld is like 20 minutes away. Disney's over here, Universal's over here. Your family took
you know what? I'm glad.
I'd be so upset.
I'm glad when we
all gather together at every Easter.
Relationship with the Catholicism and that imagery. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I could just imagine. And when we took my son and Kelly's niece and nephew when they were younger to Orlando, oh man, I can imagine just if we saw that, oh, Kelly would have a fit.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said, and this is no disrespect. I've known people who have deeply religious convictions.
I have no problem with anyone.
No, I don't either. But I've taught you've heard I don't know how many times you've heard this. The people that fucking creep me out the most are those fucking evangelical Christians. They give me the fuck God. And seriously, they creep me the fuck out.
They're the worst. They're the worst.
Yeah, that's like.
Remember the protest movies? They protested Silent Night. Was Silent Night Deadly Night or was it?
Yes, it was that.
It was Silent Night Deadly Night. Yeah, they freaked out because they thought kids were going to be scared because of Santa Claus was going to come and kill them. And I was saying to myself, wait a minute, this is an R-rated picture. You don't take it serious. It's a goddamn R-rated picture.
They also must have not had German heritage.
Yeah. Oh, Krampus.
Yeah. Why don't we get Krampus in the States? They totally erased them.
Yeah, no, goddamn.
But people like that are the ones doing the worst shit imaginable
Yeah.
behind the curtains, behind closed doors.
Yeah, and it's so phony. Like, prime example, use the silent identity type thing. Who was a massive face of that protesting movie? Mickey Rooney, who starred in Silent Identity Night Part 5.
No, Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
I when I heard that, and then I see him start, I say, "Damn, dude!
Wow, where'd your moral integrity go?
You protesting about Silent
Rich.
Identity Night, and now you start. And you really must be hard up for some money."
I think he was.
Hypocritical motherfucker.
If you want to see a lad get nailed to a 2x4, just watch my dad try and repair a fence. With Marty said.
I'm just trying to get nailed by an Irishman.
Geez. I have a question for everyone here. What is a so-called extreme horror that everyone built up to you that it's going to be so extreme, and when you saw it, you were just like, "That's it"?
There's so many.
There's so many. Yeah.
Well, there's probably a whole lot of them too.
Yeah.
Angst is one that was really built up.
Yeah.
The German one we watched.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
I was very underwhelmed by it.
So was
We
I.
didn't even do a video on that at the end afterwards because we had nothing to say about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been so many that like people in the community will go, "Oh, these ones are," and you and I'll just
Yeah, you would especially get that since you've kind of pigeonholed yourself as being like the extreme cinema girl out of our section of the community.
Yeah, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
For me,
Probably like the biggest example is probably something like a Serbian film or Salo, honestly.
There are so many.
Yeah.
You have to dig through a lot of shit to get to the good stuff.
Yeah, that is one thing. That's kind of one thing I'm appreciative of you is like you watch you watch as much of it as you can, and you usually will come to me with like the worthwhile ones worth checking out. So yeah, that's something I do appreciate with you.
Yeah, you do, and I do try to do that. And there are, but then the thing with me, it's like chasing the fucking dragon. When I do find a movie that works, oh my god, it's such a high. It's such a high.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one movie for me that I was so disappointed to came out in the 70s was called Frogs.
I like frogs.
How that movie can be disturbing.
There's a lot of snakes in it.
Now imagine an 8 or 9-year-old kid loves horror pictures. He sees the trailer, and we think it's supposed to be a bunch of frogs eating people. And unfortunately, when I see the movie, where's the frogs?
No,
I don't see any frogs eating picture until we see the end of the picture. And the frog's got a hand in his mouth, and he swallows it, and that's the end of the picture. I was so disappointed.
but you get baby Sam Neill in that movie.
You do.
Squirm was a little bit better. The one with the worms.
Yeah, I like Squirm better.
Oh, Squirm!
Yeah,
It's fun.
I never laughed so much because that film cracked me up because the form was so funny. You want to see one of the worst practical effects of some rubbery looking worms. I couldn't stop cracking. My mother said, "Buddy, what's so funny?" I said, "Watch this dumbass heart." No, I almost didn't curse. I said, "Watch this dumb heart movie called Squirm. You got these fake looking worms."
The inverse of that is what is like the one that you keep hearing and you're like, "Oh my god, everybody's right." I think for both you and me, it was I Saw the Devil because we came in so late with that movie.
Yeah. I Saw the Devil.
That's a great one.
Times where I watched like a movie that was hyped up, but even I wouldn't say that's movie ultra disturbing. But people were absolutely right with how fucking excellent that movie was. Yeah.
Some people think it is disturbing. I mean, there are some scenes.
I mean, for South Korean cinema, I've seen way worse. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
God, South Korea makes some good shit.
The sadness, I fucking love.
I was wondering when that was.
Wait, that's not South Korean. That's Taiwanese.
Yeah,
no, but I'm just thinking
that's a Taiwanese Canadian joint production.
It's still that movie is crazy.
Yes.
I love that movie.
Oh, there's so many good bits like that.
Why didn't you let me finish?
That is one of those rare movies that like primarily exists just for like shock value and like just to throw a bunch of brutal and violent shit into it, but it weirdly doesn't come off super try-hardy. Like I think that movie to me,
it's a sweet love story.
It does because it does have that heart at the end of the day of it that a lot of the other movies of it do. Like that movie movie to me is what I wish I could get out of the Terrifier series. Really, is
Yes.
that it does have more substance. Like, yes, you have all those glorious practical effects and shocking and brutally violent shit, but you still, at the core of it, have a really sweet love story where you care about the characters and want them to be able to reunite with each other,
Yes.
even if it's only for a few moments before the world completely falls apart.
But I think that is what is true love, is when everything's falling apart, you want to be with that person.
Meanwhile, you have all the fucked up shit of that thing, like the guy, like him coming across the guy getting beaten to shit with the
Why did you
sticks,
stop?
and he saves him, and he's just like, "Why did you stop?" I almost finished, and you pan out to reveal he's
Marty is right about the sadness, though. Yeah, because it is. It's like it's essentially porn, but there's no simulated sex. And
No, he's talking about Baignoire. It's a French film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is pretty much porn with non-simulated sex.
Yeah.
It translate. I think it translates to kiss me. Does it
Yeah,
kiss
it
me?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the gun up the guy's butt though.
That's the memorable thing of that movie.
Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot to talk about when it comes to Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes!
Oh,
Yes!
possibly the original, like, a token disturbing film.
Oh, I love
Mhm.
that movie.
Oh.
Except for the animal cruelty, because
Yes,
yeah, but
just
Yeah.
the
My
animal
God.
cruelty.
I love the special effect of the
Out
native
my
girl
ass.
with the pole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they used a bicycle seat where they had her sitting on a
Yeah.
bicycle seat, and it looks so real. Like I love the
So
way they
good.
did that. Yeah.
No, yeah, they did a good job. Even at that time, even at that point in time, when you didn't think they would be have to do practical effects as good as they do in Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
Because I saw the making of it too, and I said, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, give them
Yeah.
credit.
But it's a pretty simple when
It's
you
really a simple effect, but it works. And usually those are the best effects.
Yeah, that was
really
gonna-
simple ones.
Tom
Mhm.
Savini always the house one with the skateboard. were
Yeah,
very
it
equivalent.
always is the simplest stuff that you don't need to overcomplicate the effects sometimes.
Mhm.
Holocaust is such an interesting movie for me. I deeply wish the animal cruelty wasn't a part of it for two reasons. One, obvious
Obviously.
reasons. Two, because that's overshadowed
Everything
the movie
else.
itself, and people don't talk about what the movie actually is. Partially, I think, due to the fact that the movie's talking about shit that's very specific to the time frame it was made in.
Mhm.
It's a massive critique and lambast of the Mondo films,
Yes.
which was there was a massive trend of movies in like the late 60s to the 70s of a bunch of white documentary crews
Colonialist.
going to Africa, going to the deep jungle, and fucking around, torturing and attacking the tribes, and making them seem like they're savages and violent and all that shit, and just being blatantly like the most racist, horrible people imaginable. And that's what Cannibal Holocaust is. It's talking about and pointing out the hypocrisy of all that and how terrible those movies were. But due to the animal cruelty, no one talks about that about the movie. They
Yeah.
just talk about the
No,
animal
unfortunately,
Damn
unfortunately, because of what happened in the film, that gets talked about more, and the actual message of the film gets missed.
Yeah,
Yes.
Exactly. It's a damn shame because I really think that message was really important for the time, and it didn't get really any recognition back then. And it's only with retrospect, people looking back to realize what the fuck it was talking about.
Yes, exactly. I think it was missed. It does make me wonder something.
Oh god.
I love that. I love the closing line. Also, another thing that gets overshadowed is the director literally had to bring his actors into court and go, "Hey guys, they're not dead."
Hi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah,
You know,
they're
it's
not
kind of
dead.
Blair Witch before
It's
Blair
right
Witch
here.
ever
They're
happened.
still alive. Yeah, because I read about that the people thought that the film was real, and the
Mhm.
actors actually got eaten. He had to bring them all out. No, they're not dead. Here we are. We're still all alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've always referred to Holocaust as being the first, if not like the progenitor, at least like a very early example of the found footage genre.
Yes.
More so than Blair Witch, because if we're being honest, Blair Witch totally aped off all of the success that Holocaust
Yeah.
had back in the day.
Yes.
Except it didn't do it as
It
good.
didn't do it, but it didn't do it as good, and because Blair Witch doesn't have that little substance that you can really dissect and chew on. And I am glad that like they have have done a lot of the modern re-releases of the film do have an alternate cut that removes all the animal cruelty, and I'm really actually glad for that. That's a rare example of like doctoring and removing stuff from a classic film that I'm actually okay with. The original cut still is available, but I'm glad that there is an animal cruelty-free version of the film, so people can still actually watch it for its message and not just focusing on that stuff.
But I've also heard a couple assholes on YouTube that said, well, you know what, guys, there wasn't a Burger King or something, so they had to, and they're fine with it because, you know, they did. And I just think you fucking assholes. Like, I've heard a few people say that.
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't add anything to the film. And it is entirely, it actively hurts the movie's credibility.
Oh, yeah, it does. And it also doesn't have, what Blair Witch doesn't have is that fucking fantastic score.
Oh, God, Holocaust has one of the best scores in horror history. That's something I always find interesting about it. Yeah.
You know, it amazes me about the Blair Witch because when that movie first came out, and I'm thinking to myself, this is not real.
Yeah, obviously.
People thought it was.
But
in defense of Blair Witch, it was very much the first viral film, and I think the difference is you have the general audience that just saw the trailer and went to see the movie. Then you had those of us that were sitting in classrooms on computers, and what happened in like 8 months leading up to the movie, where people would pop up in the chat rooms and in the forums, and they would talk about this Burkittsville witch, and they'd be like, "Oh, check out this website. This teaches you about the Burkittsville witch." So we're reading this website, and the people that are in the movie are commenting on the forums. And then one day they just stop, and everybody's like, "Where'd they go?" They were talking about they were going to go record this Burkittsville witch. Then they started releasing the missing posters and stuff. So there was this whole viral campaign that they did entirely online. So if you missed that online campaign, the movie didn't have the same build up.
Yeah, it didn't have the same hit.
And
I was going to bring up they got to get them right. That was a great marketing campaign they did. You got to give them credit.
Too bad the movie isn't as good as the marketing campaign.
Yeah, like it's kind of one of those. Like, I'm a defender of Book of Shadows more so than the original.
I know.
But like I find
you mean the real version, not the bad version.
Yeah, what we have with the director's cut. Yeah, what we have of it. Yeah, I find it so fascinating. Like it's almost kind of Megan is Missing was the most recent example. That happens like almost every 20 years. You had Cannibal Holocaust. 20 years later, you got Blair Witch. 20 years after that, you had Paranormal Activity, and then you had Megan is Missing as a more recent example. I find that so fascinating that people keep falling for this exact same trick. It's so fun.
But they keep changing because with Paranormal Activity, it plays with your security cameras, and just like Paranormal Activity 2. Because we used to have ADT, and the ADT system sounded the same as the one in the movie. And then it also freaked me out with the was it part 3? It wasn't part 3. It had to be either part 2 or part 4, where they had the video game system. Was it the Xbox?
The Simon game.
Yeah, no, not the Simon game. Where you could see the ghost in the little dot matrix.
That was the sixth one, the Ghost Dimension.
That was the sixth one, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was Ghost Dimension. Yeah, right, with the Kinect. Yeah.
Yeah, the Kinect. Yeah, it plays with little things that we have in our lives that you can make spooky. The movies in their entirety not so good, but they have their moments where they take something that's just so common every day and they make it spooky. So I kind of like them for that.
And it also, like the 20 years, if you think about it, this is something horror has always done, even if it wasn't like the viral and the true crime thing, because they would what did we see? Based on a true story. That's what
based on a true story.
Yeah. And very rarely like it's about this one cannibal guy, and they made Silence of the Lambs, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the list goes on and on. Yeah.
Psycho, I think, is off the
Psycho,
yeah, Psycho's another example.
That's all based on Ed Gein.
Yeah, and many others.
Yeah, all that stuff. Plus, you have stuff like a lot of William Castle's older tactics too, of like signing the life insurance policy and stuff. Like
the Teddy Ruxpin. That used to, I don't know if I don't know.
Yeah, the Teddy Ruxpin.
but the Teddy Ruxpin, when the batteries were low and you put a tape in it, it's
nightmare.
Yeah.
See, I was a ghetto girl. I had a fucking goose.
You had a goose.
They had mother goose, and I was like, "This is worse."
I had an Elmo.
I know that about Teddy Ruxpin because I bought one when my son was small. I bought a Teddy Ruxpin, so the bags get loaded with tapes in it.
And it'll move to any tape. So we used to put. I remember we put a Curtis Blow tape in it.
I love all the shit people put into Teddy Ruxpin just to see how cursed it looks.
You should see
Oh,
the
man,
bill,
that was
though.
funny.
I remember that bill would flap.
Into My Buddy. We were so creeped out. That's why Chucky worked so well.
Yeah,
We were
exactly.
already creeped out by the My Buddy dolls.
Yeah,
And
so-
Kid's sister.
And Kid's
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, you're about to say something, Sean.
Going back to the marketing on Paranormal Activity, what I thought was clever, and it was kind of the first time I saw that is when they started showing the audience
The audience
reaction.
reaction.
Yeah.
The film, and they're like, "Ooh, what's this?" That's scaring the hell out of people. People are walking out of the theaters and gagging and freaking out. I was like, "That's good stuff. That gets you excited."
Mhm.
Like, "Ooh, I gotta check
Yeah.
that out."
Mhm.
It does amp people up.
Mhm.
Oh, if you want to see something fun like that, look up the audience footage from The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
They were
god.
really falling out. They were really crazy.
You got to see it firsthand, Monty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just seen it in the theater.
Mhm.
yeah. I told you I saw
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Exorcist in the theater. I told you,
Oh,
me and my
wow.
friends, we snuck in to go see it. Yeah,
Oh.
like I said, I tell everyone, it's like, yes, the lines were long.
Mhm.
Yes, a lot of people went to go see it. Yes, people ran out the theater. People threw up, and people screamed like mad.
Mhm.
all that shit that you see in the TV advertisements or documentaries, that actually did happen.
Yep.
And I think it should be still considered an extreme horror too, just for the crucifix scene. I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah. I mean,
yes.
it's
No,
like this.
God, I remember that's one of those moments of like an early horror fan because I always heard, "Oh, The Exorcist is so extreme," all that stuff. And I finally watched the film, and I was like, "Huh, okay, this is a well done movie, but what's the big deal about all of this stuff?" Only to realize about 3 or 4 years later, I saw the TV edit because then I watched the movie again on an actual DVD copy of it. There was the unrated one, and I was like, and the crucifix. She's like, "I don't fucking remember that at all. Holy shit, that's amazing!"
Yes.
This would be my answer to your question about an overhyped movie because I had been hearing that was one I couldn't get my hands on until I was about 8 or 9. And when I finally saw the movie, we rented the tape. I was a little disappointed because I was like,
And you built it up in your head for so long.
yeah. So, but that would be
Probably
the
because
answer to
you'd
your
seen
question.
every possible extreme.
Yeah, because-
You'd see like repossessed and
all
stuff
these
by that point.
extreme
It was from pop
horrifying
culture
Yeah,
to make
results
fun of
because
it.
you have,
already.
because I tell people, you have to understand something. When that film came out in '73,
Mhm.
no one saw anything like that before. The closest
Yeah.
you got anything like that was either Rosemary's Baby or a Psycho.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
even those films were tame compared to when The Exorcist came out.
Mhm.
You got a girl masturbating, saying to the doctors, F me, F me.
Then she
You
takes
know.
her mother's face.
And then,
Yeah.
and then sticks in mother's face, lick me,
Yeah.
lick me.
Yeah,
No,
that's
like-
still an extreme horror.
And it's like you never, and you didn't have social media back then. It was just purely word of
Word of
mouth.
mouth.
Mhm.
And
Like,
people
that
would
was-
just come up to you and say,
Yeah.
"Did you see The Exorcist? Did you see The
Yeah.
Exorcist? You got to see that, man. You got to see that, man. I can't tell you, but you got to see that, man." And it just spread like wildfire.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like people forget how big that movie is. Like fucking Tubular Bells was a #1 hit single, and it should have never been, but
Wow.
it's entirely off the power of The Exorcist.
I have it on my iPod to this day.
Yeah, exactly. Like that dude became a very influential like prog musician and had an '80s pop star entirely because of the success of The Exorcist.
Yeah.
You know, like that movie was massive. There was no film as big of it as at the time of its release.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And no one has been able to make a possession movie that lives up to it yet.
No, it's been
And it
constantly
keeps
chasing
trying.
that high ever since.
Now we
Yeah.
haven't seen The Ritual with Al Pacino yet.
God.
I hear it's awful.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, I'm
movies-
not heard good things about that.
Yeah.
Two movies that one people built up to me that it shouldn't even be considered horror, but some people put in a horror category, and one that I think should be put in a horror category, but they don't. The first one is Deliverance. I was literally banned from watching Deliverance as a child. We had it on VHS, and I was not allowed to watch it as a kid. So just last year, I said, let me see what this Deliverance movie is about. And I'm like, that's it. That's it.
it.
I went to the woods, and the guy
I mean,
said,
it's really
"Real
just
estate,"
like a
and
one
pig.
scene,
I'm like, that's and the one that I think people should consider more extreme is this movie called oh God, it was just on the tip of my tongue and then it left me. Beloved.
Oh,
yeah.
I love Beloved. I love Beloved.
Oh, they
Oprah
literally.
Winfrey.
Yes, they literally. Well, to unfortunately, I got to spoil it in order to talk about it. In Beloved, it takes place during the time period just before emancipation, and the main character, she has escaped slavery, and she thinks that she hears the men on horseback and dogs coming to get her, and because she's so afraid of being re-enslaved, she takes her daughter, who's an infant, and literally kills the child, and you see her kill the child. And throughout the duration of the movie, it jumps forward like 15 years to where she's living free. This is post-emancipation, but she still has PTSD. So she still keeps hearing things. And she's haunted by the ghost of her baby that she killed. And she has a second daughter that she's had after that time. But it's a very creepy movie. But the beginning of it with her killing that baby it's extreme. And it's just
it is.
they call it a drama thriller. No, that's a horror movie.
And I love the shot because it's not just like the members of her family. Even the white slave owners are looking at her when they see the carnage. They're even aghast. Like, why did you do that? I mean, these horrible men. And that's a very powerful scene.
Yeah. And the daughter is played by Tandy Newton, I believe.
Yes,
she was really good in it.
Yeah, because she's the daughter of the enslaved woman and probably her slave master, so that's why they had to have a biracial actress play the daughter. But yeah, it's a very extreme horror to me.
Yeah,
absolutely
it is. And no one ever talks about that movie. I haven't thought about it in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's based off a book. The book is really good too.
Obviously, the next movie I have is called Audition.
Takashi Miike.
There could be many of his
films. You could have multiple Miike movies. Honestly, if I remember right.
You did.
Oh man, did anyone knew that she was going to be that whacked out?
No, I had no idea when I saw it. Like, because when I saw it, it was way back, pretty much when it came out. Yeah, so there was no like online discourse about it. All I heard was, "Oh, you got to see Audition," and that's it. So I had no expectation. So it was really wild to see how that story developed. Like, it starts with this. At first, you're skeeved out by the old man, anyways, because he's trying to audition girls under the guise of a TV program, but he really wants to find a wife. But he's only auditioning girls that are like 20 to 25 years younger than him. And so you think that the power dynamic is going to be in his favor until you find out her secret.
And the thing I love about Audition is it's such a purposeful and a movie that only like that movie could never be replicated. There's so many little things that if you remade it or changed one slight thing, the movie falls apart. Everything is so purposeful. Neither one of them are inherently the villain of it. Both of them do horrible things.
They're products of
they're products of their culture, though.
Yeah,
that's the thing that I find so interesting. And like, there's always every couple of years you have the articles pop up like, such and such director has suggested that they were interested in remaking Audition. And I'm always like, God, no, you cannot touch that movie. That is one of those movies you just cannot touch because it will never work ever again without that cultural subtext.
Didn't my director from you told me
the current one is Christian Tafter, who did Speak No Evil. Was
I like the guy.
I believe that production has fallen through again, but that was the last one I heard. Was he was?
I cannot see an American filmmaker try their best to make an American version of Audition. They would have to change so much about it. It would just be a standard.
Just make a new movie at that point.
It just be a standard rate revenge film. That's what they would turn into. They can't just that's what they would have to do. It just wouldn't work. They just couldn't know how to make that work. Not to the effect that Audition does.
No. Speaking of rape revenge, Miss 45. That's my.
Yeah. Oh my God! Yeah.
I love that film.
That movie's great.
Did you ever see that film, Sean? Miss 45.
No.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is.
Great. It's one of those films that shows New York as it was back in the day, like Driller Killer or Basket Case.
It's like the Henlotter movie.
Yeah. This poor woman who's mute. She works in a like a fashion house in New York, and she's like a person that does like the ironing, and she like blocks the fabric and stuff like that. And she not only is raped once, but twice
That's
in
twice.
one day.
Twice.
But the second guy that tries to assault her, she's able to subdue him, and she gets his gun away from him. And after she takes care of him, and she ends up chopping up his body and dispersing him, she becomes a vigilante, and she goes out at night looking for would-be perpetrators with her 45, hence the name Miss 45, and just starts shooting dudes. And the final scene I love is her going to a Halloween party dressed as a nun.
None.
With this bright red lipstick.
Boom. Boom.
Yes. She's just firing away. She kind of goes mad a little bit, unfortunately. Like she was right in wanting revenge, but then she started to kind of target all men, whether they were assaulters or not. Just she kind of like cracked that in that way.
Which is understandable when she went it's much like audition. What her backstory, then you can go, okay, I see.
The two go very well together, actually, because they're both very like sympathetic towards their quote unquote killers.
Since we're on the rape,
I was wondering if you wanted to talk about that.
Yes, Sean, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say that sounds kind of like I Spit on Your Grave, Oda.
Yeah, it has those vibes in it. Because when I first saw Miss 45, I was telling my friends, I said, this reminds me of I Spit on Your Grave. Now, of course, he didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't know what I was talking about. I said, it's kind of like this one. And I said, this woman, I had to tell me this woman, she gets raped by a bunch of dudes, and she gets her revenge by killing them very mercilessly.
Yes. And the movie also, what I love is our character of Matthew, because that is always, when you talk to people who have seen this movie, this is where, not for some of us, but for some other film watchers, that's the moral ambiguity, because he is mentally challenged, but he knows enough what he's doing is wrong and stuff. But that is the discourse I've heard about this film is, was it right for her to kill him? But it's an interesting film. That is the one that everyone says is the quintessential rape revenge film. But I got one better for you guys, and it's a foreign film.
Before you get to that, just kind of general on like I Spit on Your Grave and stuff, and because you have like such a long history with that movie, I feel like we'd be weird to just gloss over I Spit on Your Grave in a disturbing film discussion.
I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to I just felt like it was worth bringing up.
Okay, so this is kind of where our channel got started.
That was like the first video of ours that kind of took off was your I Spit on Your Grave video.
And during that time, it was, I can't remember what year, but when I put
2017,
there was a lot of discourse and going, and women too. It wasn't just men that said, "Oh, that this movie is trash, misogynistic trash." And I knew the backstory about it, and I'm like, okay, motherfuckers, let's get a little education here. So we worked one whole like weekend and stuff, and I put in, because what most people don't know about that movie is Zarky was not a misogynist. How that movie came to be is he was a witness. Like, he was in a park with a friend, and he saw the aftermath. He ran across a girl that had just been raped, and he walked through her with the police thing, and he saw, especially at that time, that the police were basically raping her again. What were you wearing? What were you doing? Did you drink? Did you have drugs? All of that. And he's like, I need to make a film about this. But I get so enraged.
They deserve justice in getting their revenge in their own way.
Yes, they do. And was a bitch asking for it. And there's so much that people really don't get it.
I Spit on Your Grave is like the rape revenge genre as a whole kind of gets that, but like I Spit on Your Grave, maybe due to just being kind of the poster child of the subgenre, gets it the most, I feel.
And it has you could say it's one of the most brutal rape scenes ever.
I would say so. I would say like probably second that I've ever seen. Like that scene still,
it's
fucking
raw, man.
You talk for a minute, because you
that movie's really difficult. That movie's a really difficult. Like, again, I madly respect it as a piece of filmmaking, but it's a really difficult one. Like I said, probably there's only one other movie which I know you want to talk about, but I think the assault scene, if it hits even harder than I Spit on Your Grave, but due to the way Zarky does the camera of that, of like you're the one assaulting her. You're the one. It's completely from the assaulter's POV. You're the one watching. There's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing erotic about it, which should be. It's all looking at the misery and pain on Jennifer's face, and that's why it hits so damn hard. Because most other films before it and even a lot after it would cut away from that and give the audience a respite. But no, they put you in the exact place that she's at.
Not to mention our main rapist in this movie, the commentary, especially of the times and even of now.
He's a family man.
Yeah, he's a good family man. He has a daughter, and he's laying in the tub, and he thinks it's a fucking relationship. The fucking pig and stuff, and it's so cathartic when she does what she does. But there were some people who thought it went too fucking far. I have a problem with those people, but still,
that's kind of the point, is to show the horrors of it. It's not going through something like that's not easy. It's not supposed to be comforting or safe.
Yeah, and there are some victims who find it very comforting, and there's some victims who are like, I can't, it's too much. Both are valid. But he did. It's a lot more than what this film has become. You know what I mean? There's a lot deeper contextual level.
A lot of people write it off as being, a random dude in the 70s made a softcore movie about rape.
Yeah,
that's
or it's just porn.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people talk about it, and it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it really is, especially if you know the story behind it.
What about for everyone else?
Did you guys see the remake?
Yes.
The remake,
I saw the remake.
And the sequel.
Yeah, because I really have to give credit to Sarah Butler, who
she did good.
Mm-hmm.
She did really good, because she's practically nude for about almost 10 to 15 minutes throughout that scene, and I'm pretty sure in the woods, and it was probably not cold, and then she had to go into that freezing water, and I'm pretty sure that I give her commendance for doing that. But I think her revenge is worse than the revenge in the original film.
It goes way more extreme, which is I can see for working for a movie. I kind of prefer the grounded realisticness of the original. She just kind of destroys them so quickly with just a quick cut.
And also, you're in the original, it would be because you go into her madness. She goes literally mad for a while.
Yeah, people don't talk about like the 20 minutes you follow her after the assault happens, where she's just kind of destroyed.
Yes, and that is such a powerful scene, and it's very authentic of how you feel, and you're just gutted, and you're never the same person you were before that happened. And then you have these characters that look at you and like you're just a piece of trash, or that you're in a relationship with them. And she was wearing those clothes.
She was a feminist columnist who abhorred violence, now having to exact violence on the men who wronged her, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a movie that does it better.
Yeah. What anyone else? What's everyone else's relationship with Grave?
Oh, I'm agreeing with everything that Jen is saying, and I'm just sitting here. Well, I was sitting here thinking to myself, I should thank her by the end of the show for also sharing your story, because that's very, very brave to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes. I mean, it's not really.
No, you should. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Jen.
Well said.
Yeah, but I feel the same way. And as you were speaking, I was also thinking about the scene from Last House on the Left.
Yes.
Being kind of done in a similar way. And in another movie that's not considered a horror movie, but Savage Streets.
Yes.
With the baby sister that was like, I guess she was meant to be like a high school freshman or sophomore. Mm-hmm. And she's also, I think she was hearing impaired as well. It made it even worse. It's just, yeah. Very difficult.
That's one that doesn't get talked about.
I'm gonna put a pin in that. I actually kind of want to do a video on Savage Streets now sometime soon. I actually kind of want to talk about that now that it's putting in my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
how does everyone know when Zarky came back for his actual?
Oh, I spent Grave Deja Vu.
Yes, because we have
too long.
Had
some
too long
ideas. Met well enough, but damn, it needed an editor. He should have not been the editor on that. It did not work.
It was too long. Scenes dragged too long. It's very boring. It's like I like the idea.
Yeah, I appreciate. I like some of its concepts, but its execution
it was very disappointing. Yeah.
I liked it. Now, granted, it's problematic. It's not a perfect film, but I got and the heart still
the heart is still there, which I can appreciate. I'll never say it's a bad film, but I can say it's a very sloppy and flawed film.
It's not like the original.
Oh,
no. Okay, I believe we're hitting one of the next, probably most disturbing films, the whole series of The Human Centipede. What was your reaction when you first saw The Human Centipede, Lady Sasha?
I laughed at the first one, especially when
Yeah.
dudes started yelling, feed her. I was cracking up. Like, it was so ridiculous, like the premise of
Yeah.
it. But the second one had a completely different tone. And it was, to me, out of the three, the second one's the best one of the,
I agree
of the
with you.
series.
Agree
And
with you.
it's just like I don't. The third one is the worst. Like I will never watch.
Yes.
That one again. I don't even know
Oh
what
yeah,
the
third one is the worst.
You're the
I'm
only
a
one.
defender of the third one. By way of it's a so bad it's good movie for me. I
Yeah.
entirely like that movie is a piece of dog shit though.
Yeah, I think
I
that's what
kind
it's
of get a
going
sick
for.
enjoyment, but God, it's awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree with Lady Sauce. The first one was funny. The
Mhm.
second one was crazy.
I love the
Yeah,
second.
but the third one was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm not. I've never been a fan of them really. I did always like the sort of three really fucked up on it, but I did like the idea from the second one of it's a dude taking influence and inspiration from the first one, and where it's a movie
Mhm.
in its own universe. Three fucked that up by having both movies being films in three's universe that got overly convoluted.
Now that's
Meanwhile,
the movie that
having
really
both
veers.
having both Dieter Laser and the Doctor from the first and from the second movie in it.
No, yeah.
God, three's a mess.
But you
I-
kind of like
Oh,
it.
it's a so bad it's good. That is a so bad it's good kind of movie for me. That movie is a fucking clusterfuck.
Now, see, I really like the second one. The
I know
second
you
one,
do.
the
I know
second
you do.
one's my favorite. I love, and it has such an art house kind of vibe.
It does go really hardcore in the art house vibe.
Mhm.
It does, and like you said, I love the story, the wholesome story of the one actor finding family. But he also, like, people kind of still roll their eyes, and he really does bring a heartbreaking sympathy. Like I felt so bad for the dude, even though what he's doing, but
Yeah, I can see that.
he just wanted to have friends, and his mother was a fucking cunt.
Always comes back to mother.
Yeah, it usually does. And then the baby scene. Marty
Oh,
hates
yeah.
that scene.
The shock scene. The
Yeah.
big shock scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Have you seen the Human Centipede, Sean?
Yeah, I have. I saw I didn't see the third one yet, but this
No,
makes
don't
me
worry
almost
about
want to
it.
see it.
No, well, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. All right.
Yeah,
No.
you're not missing
Yeah, I
anything.
would
You're
say.
not missing anything.
Like you said, the first one was kind of funny, and I thought the Doctor was kind of quirky and kind of campy, but almost like a Dr. Frankenstein type dude. And doing this.
People forget that the first movie was supposed to be a black comedy. People forget about that because it has the reputation since it popped up.
Yeah,
on
no,
Netflix.
that's why I kept saying. I said, "This is not hard. This is like a
Yeah, it's
comedy."
a
'Cause
black
I couldn't
comedy.
stop
That's
laughing.
entirely what that movie is.
Well, the opening where they're going through the rain to the big house, it's a little bit, reminds me a little bit of Rocky
It
Horror.
is very much like there's a
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always thought
very
too.
much so.
But the second one I felt did get more serious, more disturbing, and yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty rough. Yeah.
Mhm.
His little pet.
Does anyone know why he chose to shoot it in like black and white or like really desaturated as it was?
I don't know.
I think it was just a vibe.
I think it was a stylistic.
Yeah, I
choice.
think it was. Yeah,
Wanted to do that for stylistic.
yeah.
Give it
I
that
think he
more
wanted
grainy
because
feel.
I think he wanted to differentiate itself from the first
Mhm.
film since
Yeah.
since it was not actual sequel, it's a standalone. So they think that's why he wanted to have a different type of tone set as opposed to like keep it the same way because he's watching a movie called The Human Centipede. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, next on the list is Inside.
Oh.
Oh.
And the remake.
Another one that has a shitty American remake.
Most
Yes.
people don't know about it.
Haven't seen
But
that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know people don't know about it. Yeah, because I didn't know that they made an American version of it. And I said, what? What are they doing?
It's
Making an American?
horrible.
We were like,
Yeah, I know.
I think we were the first people to ever get a video on about that movie.
Yeah, we were.
Because everyone was like, wait a minute, this is a
Yeah, we
remake?
got several comments of people going, "Wait, what do you mean they remade it?" How do you feel about the original Inside?
It's fun. Like,
It's Looney Tunes.
Yes, I've always said it's Looney Tunes. It's fun. And the story, like, because it's so Looney Tunes, it's a dark story. I mean, she loses her family, her husband and stuff, and then you find the person that's after her wants her baby. It's pretty fucked up.
She kills her
Mhm.
mom. It's Christmas, holiday blues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put it on my Christmas
Yeah,
movie list.
it's a Christmas.
It is a
classic.
Christmas movie. Mhm.
Yep.
It technically is. Everyone forgets that. It's a dark movie, but because it goes so over the top, I think it loses some of its impact.
It becomes, and those directors have outright stated it, Sam Raimi was the main influence. They wanted to make their own Evil Dead movie, basically, with that film. And I'd say to a point they succeed. I always would be curious to see if that team do their own Evil Dead movie, how over the top it would be.
You know me, I'm a high tension girly through.
Oh yeah, I know.
But I like Inside for what it is.
It's fun. It's very fun. It's a very fun, like, popcorn movie.
But it's no Aja.
Yeah, I actually thought, it's a very crazy movie. Obviously, because I never saw, I didn't know there was an American remake of it, so I didn't even know about it. But I heard it was terrible, just like the Martyrs remake. But definitely, but definitely very crazy, very crazy movie.
Mm-hmm. Especially how it starts with, well, not the start, but the start of her night when she finally gets home. Her nightgown is completely white, but by the end of the movie, it's blood red.
It's blood red.
Didn't you also watch that movie shortly after giving birth?
Yes, the original, not the remake, but I did, and that was like not the best choice.
It was like a week or two after you gave birth.
I was to my younger son Jaker and stuff, and I was late and I was just resting, and the baby was asleep.
That must have been a fun time.
It was, it probably wasn't the right choice, but I'm like, it hit me different because I saw it that way.
Tony Mann's not here to say it, but he got written up at Blockbuster for recommending that movie to a couple. He did not realize that the woman was pregnant. They asked for a good horror movie to watch, and he said, watch Inside, and he came back very angry, wanting to speak to the manager because the woman happened to have been pregnant.
Man. Well,
I never got written up.
What did you say, Sean?
I had never got written up because I worked at Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have any stories?
Oh, not really. I made a lot of, recommendations. I never had anybody come back and say that movie was garbage. You don't know what you're talking about. So usually people like my suggestions.
Cool.
Good. Do you think the Green Inferno did a good job and praise and I guess complimenting the Cannibal Holocaust, the Green Inferno?
I think it missed the point a little bit because it focused more on the gore and less on the
social commentary.
Yes, thank you. Social commentary. My mind was blanking on the word. Yes.
I get you.
So what you're saying is it's an Eli Roth movie.
I'm going to let you go because you.
I was waiting for Velvet to say something.
That movie not very good.
You don't. Okay, get it out.
Okay, it's weird. I will say, like we're not counting something like Hostel or something.
I love Hostel.
Like we're not counting that, but Hostel 2 is the better of the two anyway. But besides Hostel, Green Inferno is probably my favorite of Eli movies. It's still a piece of shit though. It's and everything around it. Yeah, it completely missed and failed as a send up to those 70s cannibal movies. It came out feeling like all the worst qualities of all of them. It very much. It's a prime example of wow, Eli Roth really doesn't understand media literacy. I don't know how nicer way to put it than Eli Roth does not have any level of media literacy. As I was watching, it's like
he gets gore.
And the more of his movies come out, the more right that shit used to be.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I guess if you just want to turn your brain off, I guess sure. Like, haha, the cannibals got high from eating the stoner dude. That's something, I guess.
That scene was funny.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop laughing.
It has a problem. A lot of Eli Roth's movies do. Of it tries to take itself seriously while also having the mentality and sophistication of like a 15-year-old boy.
But he did give a cameo in Hostel.
Yeah, he did do that, and I will give him that was a good call. That was a good idea.
I love that.
Yeah, that was a good idea. But I don't know. It's kind of the prime example of everything wrong with Eli Roth as a director for me, honestly, is the Green Inferno.
it's fun. Like it makes me laugh. But if we're talking like if we're having a serious discussion about extreme horror, it is not Cannibal Holocaust, and it's not like it's a very much a parody of it.
It's 100% feels like a parody of those movies.
Yeah,
which feels so weird to do in the year 2015. That just was always weird to me.
Yeah, it kind of, I didn't get the connection. The only type of connection I got was that it took place in an area where cannibalism is, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that he was trying to do the same thing when just that the young people were trying to stop the people from killing the rainforest. So
That's the other thing about it is
like South Park did.
It is basically just a South Park joke at that point. But one that I point out that Trey and Matt have both said that they regret making that episode because of how poorly it aged. Because it does have that quality of like, fuck you, people caring about the environment. You deserve to die. Like what? Okay, weird take, bro.
I mean, and of course he had to have his wife star in it.
He's not as bad as Eli Roth. I mean, not Eli Roth. Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie.
He's not as bad as Rob Zombie.
Don't get Jen started on that.
The only time she did really good was it Lords of Salem? I think she actually did pretty good in Lords of Salem. But the whole Firefly family thing,
like defending Sherry Moon Zombie.
Well, let Lady Sasha. I need to say some things.
I did say that she did well in Lord of Salem because she was given something to do besides look at how sexy I am.
See, I have to respectfully disagree, guys, because I really get annoyed when people give her shit. Is she the best actress? No, she's not. But people are gonna laugh at me. But the fucking Halloween movies,
the first one, yeah. Two, not so much.
I was mostly talking about. But
Horse of White Symbolism, no.
Well, chose its own thing. But I'm talking about the Halloween movie. There are some scenes where she literally has to be a mom, and she regrets, especially when things are getting real, and everyone gives her shit, and I'm sitting there going, you know what, she's pretty damn good, and she's also great in the
Firefly movies.
Yes, especially the last one,
Three from Hell.
With her friendship with the one little person. I loved those things. So I get a little annoyed with people who do that. I like her. I like Rob Zombie.
I'm sorry, Jen.
No, I'm not mad at you. You at least are respectful. Like, I'm talking about those assholes like, oh, she's just a pair of tits. Shut the fuck up, asshole. You'd be lucky to touch those tits.
I come in this weird gray area of like, is she the best actress?
No,
not remotely. But there are moments where she does show. Does Rob Zombie overutilize her and entirely put her in his movies just so he can say, hey guys, look at my fucking hot wife and her great ass? 100% absolutely. But fair enough. She does got a really nice ass.
And I think she's gotten better.
She's gotten better over time,
yeah.
You know what I actually liked her in that probably nobody does is The Munsters.
Yeah,
not a good movie at all.
No.
But I thought it was pretty good. Like, she gave it her all, way more than I expected out of that movie, which is just
and I don't blame her for what she tried to do in The Munsters. I blame Rob Zombie for that one.
Yeah,
like I said before, it's like this: he can direct, he just can't write. Get somebody else to write the script because you cannot.
100%. I agree.
No, come on, Sean. Some of the movies work. Damn it.
Munsters would have worked so much better if it was just episodes of a TV show, which I feel was what he was going for, but it should have just been put out that way.
Yeah, I like what he tried to do with the Munsters. As far as how the color grading.
It's
the
a
aesthetics.
Gorgeous film.
It looked.
Yeah, I love the look of it. Yeah,
I love the look of it, but the whole weirdness, I just threw it away.
Yeah, it didn't work completely. There were things you really liked. Richard Brake.
There's a lot I like about that movie. There's also a lot that doesn't work, and I don't like about that movie, though.
Yeah, but the cast all really tried. You could tell everyone was really trying.
Sherry was fine. Jeff Daniel Phillips I always felt was miscast as Herman. Like Jeffrey Riddick was a great grandpa choice. That was a fantastic pick for grandpa.
Oh yeah, he was great as grandpa. Yeah, Herman was miscast.
Yeah, Jeff Daniel Phillips was a weird pick. I didn't like that.
He was good. It was the way he talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give him credit that he did not try to imitate Fred Gwynne. So I'm glad he didn't try to imitate him, but he was definitely miscast as Herman.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm trying to remember the Three Extremes. Is that the one with dumplings?
That is the one with dumplings. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were the other two stories? I can't remember the other two stories.
House
I
of a
can't
Thousand
remember 'cause they're not
Corpses.
dumplings.
Yeah, exactly. That's what everybody says.
Monty
Yeah.
in the Three Extremes movie, because I know dumplings was meant to be an episode of Masters of Horror, but
Yeah, Masters of
HBO
Horror, yeah.
said it was too extreme to put on there, so it ended up being one of the three shorter films within the Three Extremes. But I can't remember the other two that were part of the Three
Yeah,
Extremes.
I can't remember the other
dumplings.
two
Can't
either.
either,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
One of them wasn't the Carpenter one, was it?
Maybe I can't remember.
Yeah, neither can I. But
It's been
yeah,
a long time since I watched The Extremes.
oh yeah. Well,
But
I took Kelly to go see the Devil's Rejects. Don't ask me why.
Nice.
Yeah, Tony Man agrees with you, Jen. He's the only reason I've seen these movies. I liked House of a Thousand Corpses, but then he's the one. You got to watch the Devil's Rejects. You got to watch. I can't get into those.
That's
A
fair.
lot of
A
people,
lot of people
Rob
can't.
Zombie's not for everybody.
She is the most.
Yeah,
inspired-
Rob's yeah. But when I went to go see the Devil's Rejects, and of course, the truck scene.
Yeah.
I cried laughing because I knew it was going to happen. And Ellie looked at me like she was going to kill me. I couldn't stop. I couldn't help it. I said, I got a morbid sense of humor. I can't help it.
Were you guys dating at the time, or were you married by this
No,
point?
we were married at the time. when that
Okay,
came out.
gotcha. So she kind of knew.
I couldn't help it. He was so funny. That scene still cracks me up. Because you just, first of all, she's got the dude's peeled mask off her face. She can't see shit.
Yep.
She's screaming and hollering, and she's running out the road. I said, oh no, she's gonna, and next thing you know, smash.
I'm also a big fan of his brother, Spider.
Spider One.
Yes,
Spider's movies are really interesting.
But Bury the Bride, if you guys
I
have
didn't
not
even
seen
know
Bury
he
the-
directed.
Yeah, Spider
Yeah.
One's have been made like 3 movies. They're all really weird and different. 2 of them are
Yeah, they're
vampire ones.
weird.
And one's like a weird anthology
I haven't seen
hybrid
that one.
film. You'd like
Mhm.
Allegory. One's like a weird anthology film where all the segments have to do with being like a creative or an artist of some variety.
Yeah.
He's making really weird stuff that I kind of like.
And Bury the Bride was one I really dug.
Yeah, and then Little
Little
Bites.
Bites I really
Little
dug.
Bites is like a weirdly introspective movie about motherhood and addiction.
Yes, it is,
Oh.
and they're both really good. And he's similar to his brother, but he's also very different.
He's a lot more pulled back and a little bit more like artistic, for lack of a better word. Let's say Rob Zombie doesn't have an artistic side to him, but like
Yeah.
he's a little bit more like reserved and a little bit more about like themes and emotions in his films as opposed to his brother.
Yeah.
Is Little
But-
Bites the one where there was like a vampire creature in the basement?
Yes,
Yes.
that's Little Bites.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I remember
Yeah,
that.
Barbara Crampton plays a CPS agent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Bury the
Mhm.
Bride is just a really good throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Tony Man says Dumplings Cut and Box, directed by Fruit Chan, Park Chan Wook, and Ami Ike in that order.
That order.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't remember Cut or Box. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Other
no,
than
that's
Three
I
Extremes.
remember dumplings, but not cut a box.
Yeah.
The Carpenter, maybe. I do
Okay.
not remember. I don't remember Cut though. Dumplings is the standout one that everyone talks about from that one.
Yeah.
BK, you can do whatever you want.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. No.
Oh,
Which one was
Oh, which
better?
Hey, speaking
Oh,
of
wait a
Mike,
minute.
should we talk about this? Should we talk about Ichi?
oh my
I'm
God! I was
hoping-
hoping someone would bring up. I love Ichi the Killer.
Do you
Is
love
that
it more than
considered
Audition?
extreme?
Yes.
I don't
It's
love it
very
more than Audition.
yes, though.
Wildly different films, but
I'm
love
trying to
Here's
think,
what I love about Ichi the Killer.
which
so
one
much.
is worse, that or Tokyo Gore Police?
I
I'd
think.
say Ichi goes harder.
Hmm.
Tokyo Gore Police is just like balls to the wall violence and gore, whereas Ichi like is just kind of nasty. And
I like Ichi.
Like need I remind you how Ichi's opening credits?
Yeah, I
come
was
out
going to
and
say.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The opening
yeah, I'm
credits-
pretty sure Ichi goes way grosser and darker. You know.
I
And
love
it-
that.
And I think it takes, even though Ichi is also off the wall, slightly more serious.
Yes,
Yes.
Gore Police is a farce. Gore Police is just campy.
I'm not a big fan of it.
I know you've never really liked Gore Police much. Gore Police I have an appreciation for, but like Ichi just there's something magical about Ichi.
No, I love
And
Ichi.
I think a lot of it comes down to the actor playing Ichi just goes so hardcore in that role.
The wildest thing about Gore Police is the chair lady at the, I guess it's kind of a strip club where like the bottom half is like a I don't know, it just opens like this and she just kind of pees on the audience and it's it's very Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Japanese. Yeah,
it's definitely very Japanese.
Like a yokai in some ways. Yeah.
Oh, it does have flashes. Oh wait, no, I'm confusing it with Machine Girl. Sorry, I started thinking about Machine Girl.
Oh, Machine Girl.
Which one was better, the Faces of Death or the ABCs of Death?
Faces of Death.
They're so different.
Faces of
And
Death.
also,
I
ABCs of
wouldn't
Death is
compare
just
them.
wildly inconsistent in quality.
Yeah. Like when it comes to anthologies, you better betting on a VHS movie than ABCs of Death.
Yeah,
but there's some good ones.
There's like 5 great segments out of those 2 movies, and a lot of dog shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad shit from the ABCs of Death movies.
I love Faces of Death movies.
I know you do. Well, it's such a hard comparison since one's like an anthology and the other one was like a mockumentary presenting itself as real.
And it very much Mondo.
Faces of Death was one of the last Mondo films.
Yeah.
We should mention, since we talked about a lot of these Mondo movies, cannibal movies, that most of these cultures, if not all of them, are not cannibals. I know. Just want to make sure anyone watching that might get confused. As a matter of fact, most of them are damn near just pescatarian. They're mostly fish and vegetables.
I know, because I heard that it's like, it's like when you research these people, these regions down there, I said, no, they're not actually cannibals.
No,
some of them are just vegetarians.
That was just sensationalist white people fucking documentaries in the 70s and 60s.
But they were fun.
They were demonstrably racist.
Well, yeah, they were, but it's funner to think you've got cannibals living somewhere than not.
I guess. I don't know.
Pro cannibal.
No, we do have a real cannibal story. The one with the family that went into the caves. It's somewhere in the U.S.
Shawnee Bean. It's Shawnee Bean because that's what actually the Hills Have Eyes.
I knew that it was influenced. I thought Shawnee Bean was in Ireland. Yeah.
It might be. Oh, I wish Marty were here.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I thought Shawnee Bean was in Ireland.
No, Shawnee Bean.
Maybe it was in the U.S. I can't remember.
Oh, come on, Tony! You actually thought Faces of Death were real?
I did too.
It was presented that way, just like Blair Witch would have.
But I can't get with Monty. We're like 10 years old watching it, so like to my 10-year-old mind, this has got to be real.
I'm kind of
I get that because I was a little older when my brother and I saw it, watching Face of Death. We were cracking up laughing at it, and of course my mother's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "We watch this movie called Faces of Death." I said, "Why are you watching that crazy stuff?" I said, "Mom, it's not real. It's all fake."
It's kind of was your guys' generation's equivalent of what Lost Tapes was for my generation, where that was a found footage anthology show on Animal Planet, where they premiered it on Halloween as a new nature show, and it was just the pilot episode, which is about a Steve Irwin type of dude who gets bit by a fucking lizard and slowly starts to die from it.
Oh wow!
And there's multiple people from my generation who are like, "Oh my god, this is real! Oh my god, cryptids are real!" And
it's very much the same as Faces of Death. Because like when I was
you're a little kid when you first see it, like she was saying.
Wow, that's what the Jersey Devil. Okay.
When I was a kid, I remember feeling so badass. I'm watching Faces of Death. I'm fucking hardcore, man. I fucking earned my wings. And then, like a couple of years, I'm like, you fucking idiot. They're not going to allow a fucking thing to record an execution, you fucking idiot. Yeah. I believed it too.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever try to exercise your horror muscle by like forcing yourself to watch stuff that you're afraid of? Because I did that when I was 14. I remember I was a child that was afraid of the dark, but I always wanted to watch horror movies. And when I was 14, I was like, I'm gonna get over this one way or another. And I remember I recorded Hellraiser and Hellbound Hellraiser 2 off of HBO. And I played them over and over again until I was no longer afraid of it. I was like, I'm gonna watch it and watch it and watch it until until I build up a horror muscle that keeps me from being afraid of Cinnabon. And I'm still a little bit afraid.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I really never really was afraid of anything. I mean,
neither.
like I said, the only film that had any type of effect on me was Jaws.
Mm,
It was Jaws.
There were,
You know
like, things,
that's
but
because
there
sharks
was
are
never-
real.
yeah.
I was always that
Funny.
weird kid where I got freaked out by something, and then I wanted to fucking rewind it back and see if I had the same reaction. So I was that
Yes.
weird fucking kid, you know.
I was always chasing it.
Yeah, you were very much like chasing the proverbial dragon.
Yeah, I was, and usually only a couple of films have ever done anything to me emotionally. But yeah, I've always been like, and I fucking you get there and you fucking do it, you little bitch. Yeah, that in her head. Yeah,
There's just a super toxic horror fan deep down in you that's just constantly pushing you and bullying you.
basically yes.
Oh yeah. A lot of young people, if you wear those wireframe glasses, they automatically say Dahmer now. Like those glasses are associated with him because of that TV show.
Uh-huh. That's sad. You about to say something, Sean?
No, it was funny you mentioned Jaws because I just watched that last night and I was scared at some parts, like the part where Roy Scheider's feeding like flicking the meat out in the
He's feeding
water,
the chum.
trying to
He's
get him
feeding
to
the
come,
chum
and
into
the
the
shark
water
just
next to
comes
the
out
shark.
of nowhere. Rah!
Yeah, because
Like,
because the two scenes that tripped out the whole audience while we were watching the film was when Richard Dreyfuss' character is trying to find the shark, and he sees the head of the guy come up, and he's scared to shit him, and everyone screamed and jumped out their seats, and of course, Roy Scheider's throwing the chum, and the shark pops up. Everyone freaked out about that too.
Yeah.
That would have been.
You
we
guys
just
are gonna
just
like
holds
dangerous
up-
animals. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys are really
holds
gonna
up
like
so
dangerous
well, man.
animals.
I know. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to see it.
Have
Have
you
a
guys
chance to
seen? Have you seen Cruel Jaws?
Yeah.
It's an Italian. What's it Italian? It might not have been Italian. It might have been Spain. But it was a European ripoff of Jaws. It was marketed over there as Jaws 5.
Mhm.
But it's called Cruel Jaws. I enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think-
you
I
do
think
too,
I
don't
might-
you?
Oh
Cruel
god!
Jaws?
Oh god! What did I come? How did I come back to Cruel Jaws?
We were talking about Jaws.
Okay. Fucking Cruel Jaws. Yes, I am. I Cruel Jaws.
Okay. I don't know if you want to consider this disturbing, but anyone remember the movie Compliance from 2012?
I've heard of it. but I have not
I've seen
it.
that.
That
Yeah.
rang me a bell, actually.
That
What's
is
the
pretty.
plot?
When the girl works at like McDonald's, whatever, and the guy
Oh!
called pretending to be a police officer, and he gets her to do
Yeah.
all kinds of crazy stuff, like take her clothes off and like
Oh yeah, I have heard of
it's
this
pretty
one.
messed
Okay.
up. It's a
I've never
true
seen it,
story.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a true
believe it
story.
or
Yeah. Somebody calls McDonald's up, or a fast food restaurant, saying that the girl is robbing the place, and that somehow the guy says he's a cop and says someone's about to robbing the place. So he takes the girl, makes her strip out of her clothes, handcuffs her, and just keeps her a prisoner all this time. And just because he said that someone actually told him that he was a cop, and he just, it's sort of like the ranch experiment where you just follow people all the time. If someone says something, you follow them without any proof whatsoever. I'm like, well, damn, and yeah, that film was very disturbing. Yes.
Yeah, it was.
It's
It
like,
was
wow.
unfortunate it happened to you.
It's like how naive can you be at the same time? Like, really, you fell for that? Didn't you go that far? Like, would
Again,
a
it
cop
could be-
tell you to do that?
Exactly. Well, see, blindly following authoritatorship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Movies
you know,
don't-
horror is never.
Horror has never is never political and never has any bigger meaning behind it whatsoever. Obviously.
Movies don't scare me. I'll say Candyman 5. I held.
5
I
times.
held. What do you say?
He said, "I'll say Candyman 5 times."
I'll take Candyman
Oh.
5 times.
No.
I held the talk to me hand and said.
Oh, he's talking about this hand.
I went on the ghost hunt and I wasn't worried either.
That ghost hunt wasn't that. We have a video on my channel of us going on a ghost hunt in downtown Orlando.
Ooh.
It was like not very interesting at all. I was like, this is a waste of $30.
No, the amount of times I've seen people do that of like they're very like ghost hunters or some shit like that, and all the dramatic of that, and they think they're gonna get that experience, and it's just mostly them sitting in a room fucking waiting to see if a dial moves or something.
Yeah, you're better going to those spook houses. You know
Yeah.
Is that a prop or just a replica of the Talk to Me hand?
Oh, it's just a replica. It has I guess it has the maker of it. It's from someone on Etsy that makes these.
Oh, it's an Etsy one. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And they said in their advertisement that your name is somewhere on the hand. I haven't found it yet. I have to look at it. I can't find my name on it, but it's also written in different languages on it. I like that they did that. That made it pretty cool.
That's neat. Yeah.
That is
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
Oh, let me show you one of my favorite props. Since we had talked about it earlier, but I didn't bring it up. But I have Pazuzu also.
Pazuzu.
Oh,
okay.
Oh,
My sister gave me that for Christmas one year.
That's
Aw.
great. That's sweet.
Does anybody else have a disturbing movie that I have not mentioned on the list that I have? I probably know. I know I missed some.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like you have a fucking shitload.
I do,
Visitor
but I'll.
Q. Have you seen Visitor Q?
Oh God, I love Visitor Q.
Yes, Visitor
Yes.
Q, a good one.
Yeah, no, another Mike.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
Ebola syndrome from is it Hong Kong? I don't
I
think so.
believe,
I
yeah.
thought so.
I
isn't
believe,
it?
yeah, but I believe that's a Section 9 film. Yeah, I believe that's a Hong Kong Section 9 film.
Oh, and there's it's not really disturbing to me, but a lot of people said it was disturbing to them. Was it called Sweet Home? Where the woman wanted an apartment built up.
Oh,
An apartment.
Yeah, you love that one.
I love Sweet Home's
Yeah.
great. I wouldn't say it's disturbing, but it is a great
Yeah, it's
flick.
not disturbing to me. No.
No, absolutely, but no. I
Oh,
love those-
Society.
The side,
Oh, God,
yeah, that,
Society.
the shunting.
I
Yeah.
love Society. Oh,
yeah.
God, I love Society.
Oh boy,
It's like
yeah.
one of your favorites.
Yeah, I love Society. That's
Mhm.
just like that's the best Cronenberg movie he never made.
Yeah. So oh, I know who did that one. Brian Usna.
Yeah,
Brian
Brian
Usna,
uses movie.
yeah.
That's a reason film.
Yeah, I was not expecting that when I felt
No
like,
one
what
is.
the hell?
And the effects technician, his name is Screaming Mad George.
Yep,
Yes.
Spearman George did that one too. Yeah. Who did a bunch of shit. I believe he did like looked a bit on Night of the Creeps and just a bunch of like. Usually, if you have a favorite '80s movie that was effects heavy,
Yep.
he had some hand in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those Hong Kong Section 9 films are really interesting. I was doing,
Yes.
I did a bunch of research on them back when we were going through like our favorite horror movies from each year of the 90s.
We need to get back
we
to that.
probably should get back to that. It's been like 3 years.
Things happen.
Yeah. But like a lot of those were super interesting to learn about, like the intersection and like how influential they became to like a lot of the South directors out of South Korea and a lot of people like Nikkei or Shion Sano out of Japan.
If you watch those films, you can really tell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can watch stuff like The Untold Story.
Yes.
And just go, oh yeah, this was obviously a massive influence to Takashi Miike.
Yes. Great films too.
Yeah.
Do we think that the substance was disturbing?
Oh, no.
Not.
I do on a certain level from like a grotesque standpoint. It gets so grotesque that it does kind of get me.
It's a weird like that I talked about this with you. Like that's a movie where the parts that like shock me and really get me to my core are not the body horror stuff.
Exactly.
It's all of it, it's like her getting ready for the date. That scene fucking wrecked me the first time.
Oh,
I watched it.
yeah.
Oh God.
That is a great.
So fucking like I felt that scene so damn hard.
And the
Oh,
cooking
yeah.
scene when she's watching
God,
on the TV. Yeah.
Yeah, the cooking scene shit was great too.
For me, what is so horrifying about that movie is the message. Like, hey, honey, once you hit a certain age, it don't matter. You lose your looks. It don't matter what else you bring to the table. You can have brains. You can have
There's
heart.
always a younger, sexier bitch next up on the line that we can replace too.
It's not. Yeah, that's part of it. But it's not even that. Even if there's not, you're not good enough. Just lay down and die, you
You're
fucking
not, you have
bitch.
no purpose to
Mhm.
serve.
And the
And that's
juxtaposition of the old men telling her this in the old. And
I know,
then
yeah, that's
them look
right.
that's
more
what
like
I got That's what I got, especially towards the end of the third act, where you see Dennis Quaid and all these old men,
Yeah, the
just
whole producer.
salivating over Margaret Qualley because
And
it's
telling
like,
her to smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smile. Well, he's literally named Harvey. Like that's the people. I heard so many people say, "Oh man, the substance is so like subtle and nuanced," and I'm like, I mean, there's a lot of details in there, but fucking, it's not subtle about it. The dude's named Harvey, for fuck's sake. It's very obvious what it's talking about.
But also not just the older men, but men in general. There was a story that I just saw that a guy was talking about it, and the woman was beautiful, but she was kind of a bodybuilder, so she had a different body type, right? And the woman's husband got on, and he found the guy that actually he made a real shitty comment about her looks, and the woman was beautiful. She just a different way. And her husband found the guy that actually left the comment, and it was this dude, bro, that most women wouldn't. Schlub. Yes, a fat schlub, bearded loser, balding, and that's what I find. It's usually the most toxic, unattractive men that'll be, saying the most hurtful things to women because we don't have enough pressure on us, guys. I'm not saying you men don't have it too, but it's a whole different level with women.
It's wildly different. Yeah.
And it's informed by pop culture because what do we grow up seeing? We grew up seeing Cliff Huxtable with beautiful Claire. You see the King of Queens and his wife, Family Guy. Like it's really weird how they do that type of casting where the woman is always more. So it kind of gives people this impression that, no matter what I look like as a man, I'm supposed to have a 10 as a woman. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Not how that works. Yeah, no, like it's why I always say, and I get into so many fucking heated arguments with idiots about like, representation, like casting different body types and different types of people in roles doesn't matter. I'm like, no, that matters because pop culture stuff is the first ways people start to learn those behaviors and stuff, And
it's also just like the balls on these some of these assholes that'll tell these women that you're not a 10, honey, so you should just go kill yourself. Plus, and again, this is a little hypocritical because I do believe you do need to have some chemistry with the person you're with. There has to be a little bit of physical attraction, but it isn't about that. Like it's about, and this is going to sound super hippy dippy, but I honestly believe it's about your soul. It doesn't fucking matter. Right. It's about the person's soul, and we get so hung up on a beauty. And what is beautiful to me and to you are completely different and stuff. And you can be a 10, and there'll be people that'll be like, I don't think it's that great,
And also, it's not fixed. Like, if you ever met a person and you see them, when you first see them, they're beautiful, but the more they talk, they get uglier and uglier.
Yes.
It's absolutely not a fixed thing. Yes, Roseanne was realistic. And we saw the substance play out in real life because Demi was nominated for an Oscar, and who won? The young lady that played a stripper, and I forgot the name of that movie.
Honora.
And Honora's not a bad movie, but that director, he had 2 movies that are better than Honora before that one.
Yes, it is
the Florida Project and Tangerine. If you have not seen Tangerine,
I would also throw Red Rocket. Yeah.
Yes, Red Rocket.
Yeah, all of Sean Baker's movies have been better than Honora, but that's the one that's recognized because it had a sexy lady in it.
That's why I was told, because after the disaster that was Amelia Perez.
I
still haven't seen it.
Anything. Oh my God.
Oh, trust me, you do not want to see Amelia Perez.
It is so not worth anyone's time.
It's no. Tell me, if you want to see the biggest insult to the trans community, that's a biggest insult.
I saw the TV Glow came out, that getting pushed as like a revolutionary trans film was a slap in the face. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially the star making it worse with her also being a racist.
Oh yeah, the fact that actress is just a demonstrably racist bitch.
Yeah, and then you have her co-star acting like she doesn't see it. This is why we can't support you. What's her name? She plays Gamora.
I can't think of her name. I know who.
I heard she was really good in Colombiana, but I didn't see Colombiana. We cannot support you if you can't stand up for yourself. You can't stand up for trans ladies, and you can't even stand up for people of color. Like out of our
everything about that movie.
Saldana, right?
Was like a demonstrable asshole.
Did you talk about Zoe Saldana?
We
Yes.
filmed this in France because Mexico is too dangerous for us to film in. It's too crime ridden and shit. I'm like,
Oh my God.
dude,
It
what the fuck are you on about?
Oh, I heard
man.
that there's a YouTube movie, a short movie that was filmed in Mexico that is like a parody of Julia Perez, but it's about
Ooh.
France, but it's all just French stereotypes.
Oh,
That sounds great. I'd love that
I
shit.
have to find it. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember hearing about it. It's like 20 minutes long. It's a short film on YouTube, and I'm like, that's
Oh, that sounds great.
funny.
That's great.
Oh man, that is funny.
Mhm.
All right, do we have any other disturbing horror movies?
I have.
You're just gonna rapid fire some?
Well, I'll rapid. I'll talk. These are most. I want to talk about one a little bit more in depth, but I'll talk about some that I'm surprised we didn't hit Necromantic or the movie Aftermath. Both of them have corpse fucking in them. I have some different opinions from most people from Necromantic. I actually think that there's a lot, and people have used a lot of different allegories and metaphors for that film.
No, that movie's has had a lot of queer readings to it, due with the AIDS epidemic. and
That
stuff
was
at
the most
time.
common
Yeah.
one, and the director is a
Oh.
very cool director. He also did The Suicide King, which is a movie that I highly recommend. We have Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah,
We
that's
have
a good one.
Irreversible. We have Trauma, which is a big one. We have a newer film that I'm surprised we didn't get to called The Coffee Table. That was
Oh yeah, we didn't
Oh,
talk
yeah.
Oh yeah, the coffee table. Oh
That's
yeah.
also on Tubi, by the way.
Yes, it is.
I know.
and it's
yeah.
really good. It's really
I almost
good.
forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Hey, Sean, have you seen the coffee table yet?
Yeah.
Not
It's
yet.
really
Maybe I'll check it out on Tubi.
Mhm.
Another film that I think is very disturbing, but on an emotional, cerebral, and also just disturbing level, would definitely be Found.
Found's great.
Found is
also on Tubi.
Also on Tubi, and if you haven't seen it, it's really great. But the movie that I want, and I promise I won't bore you two guys long, but this is a movie. If you were only to ask me, what's one? Well, and Strange Circus
that's
Yeah,
another
Strange
good one.
Circus.
is
Oh,
an
Strange
amazing.
Circus is great.
Do you want to talk about that real quick?
It's just a great movie. Watch some of Sion Sano's fucking movies. That dude is equally as talented as Mike and gets nowhere near as much recognition for
Yeah.
it.
It will wreck you in the best way possible. But the movie that has wrecked me, and if you were only to see one fucked up movie that I must have talked to you because you were gone when I saw this movie, and I told you we got to get home, we got to see this movie, and it is Red to Kill. And this is the best rape revenge movie I have ever seen. 1992.
It's a Chinese Section 9 film also.
It is, and it is way harder emotionally than I Spit on Your Grave. And it is about a mentally challenged girl. And this girl, you just love her. She has and it's not because she's mentally challenged. She's just one of those people that is just a happy person, just a very happy person. And you fall in love with her. And there is a killer going around and a rapist going around. And he is triggered by the color red, hence the name Red to Kill. And he sexually assaults this poor girl. And there is this social worker who she kind of thinks of as her little sister. And she goes and gets revenge. And the reason why this movie is so fucking hard, and no movie has ever got it so right, is this mentally challenged girl, after she is assaulted, she is in the shower and she just keeps repeating dirty, dirty. And it's such a genius thing, because even though she's mentally challenged, it doesn't matter, because whatever your capacity, wherever your station in life is, that's exactly how you feel after it happens. And you just want to scrub. There's not enough hot water. There's not enough bleach. There is not enough soap to get it off you, that stain off of you. And it is an emotionally wrecking scene. And the revenge. And it's not a particularly happy ending, guys, but it's so powerful.
That's one, like when you were showing it to me, like that's one of the hardest scenes I've ever seen from a movie for me. That wrecked me for like a good half hour afterwards. I needed a little time to recover before we finished the rest of the movie. That scene fucking wrecked me.
You thought I overhyped it before we saw it.
I was worried about that, but no, you were absolutely right. That movie is fantastic, but God, I can never. I refer to that as the best movie I will never watch again. I can't do that movie again.
I
That
would.
movie wrecked me.
Lady Sasha, if you've never seen it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I
was actually looking at my watch list, because I have a watch list of extreme horror, and it's actually on my watch list already. I was like, oh,
Okay.
I would put it at the top.
already.
It's really good.
It's a hard one to find. Also, I can't, and this isn't necessarily, well, it is horror. The other movie that wrecked us, about the cake, about the apple pie.
Oh God, what was that movie called?
I was hoping you'd remember.
I can't remember the name of that movie, but yeah, Soft and Quiet.
Soft and Quiet
from like 2013 or
something.
2023, 2022. Oh, that movie fucked. Yeah,
that's the other movie that fucked you.
Yeah, that's the other movie that fucked me. With a single cherry pie, that movie just disturbed the shit out of me.
Yeah, and we're not going to tell you anything about it. And it's not a traditional horror, but man, do you go on a journey. It wrecked both of us. Yeah.
Soft and Quiet's another one. Ooh.
So yeah,
I have one that it's not considered a. It's from 2022. Soft and Quiet.
Yes, that's the movie.
Okay, I'm adding that one to my list. This one is not considered a horror movie, but it kind of is a horror movie, and it had me messed up for probably like a month because it was playing in a movie theater when I used to work in a movie theater, and I've never rewatched it. But Kids.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I saw that
Ken
one.
Park, but Kids is a good one. Kids is a good one.
95.
You know what's happening and who's carrying a disease and how it's getting passed, and it's just really disturbing to see.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that was Harmony Korine's like breakout movie, right?
Yeah, that's the one that got him noticed, and it is a pretty. And even today, it still holds up. Like how deep. How do you feel? Because you have a different.
I don't like Harmony Korine's movies for the most part, but Kids is one of his better ones, I'd say.
What about Ken Park?
I don't like Ken Park. But no. That kind of, is there ever been a movie where you've watched it once and just like, I can't ever do this again? Like you either liked it or didn't like it. Yeah.
Hounds of Love for me.
Ooh, yeah.
Hounds of Love is one that like wrecked me. There's a scene in that movie and it made me feel better because my good friend, the Cadaver Club, Ben, really loves that movie too. And when I was telling him, I'm like, I'm such a baby bitch, Ben, because like this one scene, I'm just like covering my ears and covering my eyes. And I thought Ben was gonna go, you fucking little baby bitch, Jen. And Ben was like, Jen, I just fast forward through that part.
I just skipped that part.
I thought he was gonna go, dude, and he was like, I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, fair.
So and Tigers Are Not Afraid is another one.
That's
those are the two.
Yeah. That one wrecks.
Yeah. Those that Tigers had me crying.
You were bawling by the end of that movie.
Yeah. What about it for you?
Red to Kill is like the go-to example of like I can never watch that movie again. I cannot handle that. Like no.
I'll tell you another movie I'll never watch again, not because it's disturbing, just because it's just bad.
No.
Begotten. Like what?
Oh my God, Begotten. Oh.
I watched it and reviewed it, and I'm like, I'm never watching this again. Like,
yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair.
There was no fun for me.
No, yeah.
Oh man.
Dash Cam.
Yeah. If we're going for just for
I like that.
With the girl rapping.
Yes.
Yeah.
The horrible.
Yeah. Oh God, that was.
I like Dash Cam. I thought it was fun. I thought she was funny. She plays an exaggerated MAGA.
Yeah.
That movie was so bad you needed to take a smoke break midway through before you.
That's never happened.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever seen you need to take a smoke break before we finish that damn thing.
I was begging you, please, because we have a rule: if we don't finish the movie, we don't review it.
It's like we've already given it this much time. Might as well get a video out of it.
And I'm like, please, I will give up a video. No.
Oh, that was such
an
awful
bullshit.
movie.
Yeah,
it's because she plays the character so bad that you can't stand her and you particularly hate her. I think that's why a lot of people didn't like the film, because she really did a good job of making you hate her.
Well, she wasn't too far off.
Yeah,
that
she was
her.
playing a slightly fictionalized version of her real life personality, apparently.
Yeah. But to me, it was not. It was more about what was happening to the practical effects and what's going on with that woman, as opposed to what was.
I can appreciate that side of the film. Yeah.
They could have done that same concept with a character that we gave a damn about.
Yeah,
I like the old demon lady or whatever the heck she was supposed to be. Full disclosure, I didn't finish the movie. When she
that's fair. No, that's completely fair.
I wish we hadn't.
She rapped for the third time. I said, as much as I want to see what's going on with this demon lady, I'm out of here. I can't.
Yeah, I'm out.
Oh, the Lady Sasha, the entire 10-minute long credit sequence.
Great
is her
she's
rapping.
wrapping the cast.
Remind me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She drives around and she's wrapping.
Making us finish
That's
that.
fair.
She's wrapping the credits. Yeah, she's wrapping
Mhm.
all the people who did the.
Someone should do like a hypercut of that movie with Spree, because I liked his character in
I
Spree.
compared those movies in the video.
Yeah.
I compared those movies back, constantly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That was one of my most angriest videos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need a Jen Rant on that one.
Yeah, that was a Gen Rant video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
That was.
Did you see Dash Cam, Sean?
No, I haven't seen that
Don't
one.
bother.
No.
No.
Probably because you guys ripped on it so bad. I think I did
That's
see
fair.
Jen rant on that, so I was like, I think I'll skip it.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
You guys
And
influence me sometimes, you know.
Oh God.
Oh God, that's a scary thought. One final thing I wanted to ask before we wrap up: is there any subject matter or any topic that you think should not be tackled in a movie? Like, is there a point where a movie can go too far with any sort of subject matter? Is there anything that just is a limit point where you can I can't get behind this?
Not for me. It's not. It's the execution for me.
Oh yeah, it always comes down to a good
Yeah,
execution.
it depends upon how the movie is executed.
That's fair. Yeah, that kind of.
But there's no taboo subject for me.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's just me though.
Yeah, fair.
Mhm.
I would have to say the same thing, because I mean I'm on record defending Curse of the Queer Wolf, and
Oh, that's
a lot of people are like, no, but I'm like, you don't get it. It's making fun of homophobia.
yeah, it's making fun of it. It's just yeah.
You get it.
What's it called again?
Curse of the Queer Wolf.
I never saw that one.
Oh,
It's
you gotta check it
it's
out.
like a
It's on-
90s. Yeah, it's
it's
like a
on
90s
Tubi,
or
but I
80s
think-
shot on video movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Do I have? Yes, I do. I have
Oh
it.
my
on-
God, you have a copy?
Yes.
Is it hard to get?
I
Oh,
had to get a
shit.
copy because I was so afraid that they would ban it.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's
it's very good. It plays around with a lot of concepts of what people consider masculinity. Like he keeps
Yeah.
the main character keeps trying to do things that he thinks are masculine. Even coming down to there's one scene where he's just listening to the radio in the car, and
Mhm.
this song is like singing "Ooh, my baby," and then you hear another voice going, "Ooh, you're my baby too," and it's clearly a gay couple. He's got to turn the radio station really quick because otherwise it's
yeah.
an attack on his masculinity.
Oh,
But one night,
he
he and his friend go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's making fun of all that like that hyper masculine machismo bullshit.
Mhm.
Yes.
and that you guys are trying to turn us all.
Yeah, it's kind of it's making because he's like a John Wayne type dude who's like at night it turns into a queer wolf, which is basically just a drag queen.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he
So much
and his
better.
friend go out with these ladies, and one of the ladies happens to be, I don't know if she's meant to be transgender, because they keep saying transvestite because it's the 80s. So.
Yeah, it's the 80s. So I do assume
But
so,
I think I think she's meant to be transgender. So she bites him, so he's quote unquote bitten by the queer wolf.
yeah.
And so when the moon is full, he suddenly becomes queer, and the transformation scene is hilarious because it's just like his fingernails grow and then they turn red.
Yeah.
Oh, that's oh man, I gotta check that out. That's gonna
It's
be good.
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, it's sloppy at points, but like surprisingly it holds up pretty well.
Mhm.
And his friend, when he was having his get together with his date for the night, the way he kept coming out of the room and grabbing random objects, like he'd come out of the bedroom and grab like a vacuum hose and a toaster or something and go back in the bedroom. You're like, what the hell are you gonna do with that?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Sounds
a good
like
one. That's
funny
a good one.
one.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, I say all that to say, if you can present it in a way that is not harmful or punching down, and it's thoughtful and thought-provoking, then I think you can make a horror about anything.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good point.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I actually think the more taboo the subject, or the more, then those are the better films.
Yeah, it can be. Like, it
Yeah.
can
Oh,
be.
yeah.
It really did just come down to how it's handled. But yeah, it can absolutely become really powerful and shit, you know. And it's harder. It's become harder to do now because like media literacy is so new. Like I've heard so many with like Sabrina Carpenter's new thing, and a bunch of people have been criticizing her and calling out because she makes references to Lolita and stuff, saying, "Oh, that means she's pro pedophilia and stuff." I'm like, that's not what Lolita's about, you idiots. It's not remotely what that story's about. You clearly don't know what you're talking
Lolita's
about.
that story is different. It has nothing to do with pedophilia.
Yeah.
Well, the book does have to do with pedophilia, but it's anti-pedophilia. It's not.
Yeah, it's vehemently anti it. It's but it's harder to do stuff like that now because like even something like I've gotten arguments with other trans folk about this of like remaking Sleepaway Camp. I think there's a lot of potential to do a modern Sleepaway Camp film and stuff. And like, no, we can't do that because then you're portraying the trans community in a bad light by showing them as killers and stuff. I'm like, you can do it well. People like Alice Mayo McKay has shown you can do this well. It just comes down to how you handle it, you know, because look at the original Sleepaway Camp. That fumbled its way into actually making brilliant and really revolutionary commentary, but it was not its intention whatsoever. It just so happened to accidentally be really sympathetic to Angela's plight.
Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker's another one.
Yeah. But when you watch the movie, you identify with Angela. You don't
you identify with her, not what her actual gender is. You just identify with her.
But then you look at fucking Returns, which was one more.
Return to Sleepaway Camp and stuff. But I just
fucking frogs.
But no, I've talked with so many people about like I really would love to see a modern Sleepaway Camp film and what the potential you could have there. But admittedly, if you do it poorly, making a movie about a trans person going around killing people is gonna be really fucking yikesy depending on how you handle it.
I always like my idea because when I did the review for Return to Sleepaway Camp, I always said, and it would be cool, you could have both of Felicia Rose and Pamela Springsteen comes back and do a serious movie about this fucked up kid and they're fighting over him and it's all the trouble. I explained
I remember.
But serious.
There's potential. There's potential with that. Like,
there's potential. Like I said, they just have to do it right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my bashing of Tyler Perry movies, which I call black trauma porn. Like, I don't understand why people want to see just black people or specifically black women in distress as entertainment. Like, this is not entertainment to me. I don't want to see this.
Did you see that one with the girl who robbed the bank because he was
I intentionally didn't watch
it.
Save her kid who was ill, you know.
You talk about Straw?
As soon as I saw the poster artwork and she's laying in the bed with a child with a crack in the wall, I'm like, how much worse can you make this?
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
See, I'm a big like
Tyler Perry's such a complicated thing because like there's half of him where I'm like, okay, you do a lot for filmmaking and stuff, and you do it your own way. I respect that, but also, man, a lot of your movies have a lot of really what the fuck qualities about them.
But
dude.
I appreciate those what the fuck qualities. I don't like the Medea movies, but I get why. He's hustling. This is how he makes his money. This is how he finances his other projects.
The studio system work to his benefit.
Yes, and I love his fuck you Hollywood. I'm gonna go buy this land and do it my own way. And he also, from what I've heard, and these are just a few stories that I've heard out of him, he's always doing really cool charity things. He gave fucking Sinbad, when Hollywood's like fuck you after his stroke, he's the one who gave him a job. I love the dude. And people look at me weird, but I think he's a fucking phenomenal director.
Right.
Different, but I like him. I dig him. He's kind of like Rob Zombie.
There's so much about I know.
I agree with that part because he does have the largest studio in America, and he has consistently not only given older black actors roles, he pays them fairly because a lot of times they're underpaid in Hollywood. So I give him that, but the one trick pony stuff has to stop. There's other stories. Really black people have so many stories.
I get the feeling
because the same one over and over again.
I've heard the twist that comes with Straw. I don't think you're going to like it. I don't think you're going to like it at all.
I haven't heard the twist. I want to see it.
I heard the twist. I watched the spoiler
like
review.
The ending, the way it ends.
I'm glad that there's at least a twist and it's not straightforward, but it's still kind of downtrodden black woman. Like, can you do a comedy about a rich black girl that like has to learn about the real world because she's been rich her whole life? Like, that's a different story.
I'd watch that.
That's a good story. it's interesting when I take a look at the shows that he's produced and the movies he's put out. It's kind of hit or miss for me.
Mhm.
Some of it I like. Some of it I said that's impossible.
The cult one, the cult TV show, I really liked.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
that one
I've
about
seen
the
that
cult. It was not good, but it was entertaining and fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I give him credit. He's done a lot
Yes.
for black actors and black actresses. And the fact that he's done what he's done, especially for Sinbad, because they were about to kick Sinbad out the street, and I'm glad he was able to help him.
Yeah.
I wonder if
and
he'll get into
in fact,
horror.
I just told you.
Yeah, you were telling me about that yesterday.
Yeah, even more reason to like him. I heard that story and I wasn't surprised, but I was like, it's nice that you like someone in Hollywood and like, you're not a piece of shit. Dude.
Wow, you're not a pedophile.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot.
I wonder if he'll get into horror like how Lee Daniels did, because Lee Daniels was famous for doing like Precious, another very, very disturbing movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
But he did. Lee Daniels also did The Deliverance, which is
You did,
a very
Oh, yeah, I
interesting
saw that
possession movie.
Mhm.
More laughable than scary.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I still got to give Glenn Close credit because she actually that was fantastic.
Mhm.
She actually played herself like a white black woman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's ballsy.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Going to go ahead and wrap this up. Want to thank Lady Sasha for once again being
Awesome,
on
yes.
our channel.
Thank you.
Very nice conversation, very in depth. We hope we get her back again. And of course, every time
Very good.
these, once we end the show, we're going to see what is coming on your channel. So go on ahead, Lady Sasha. What's coming up on your channel?
Well, I'll be back on at 10:15 tonight to do Horror Week, where I just tell you the updates, the upcoming horror, and let you know what's going on in the different periodicals from Variety, Deadline Hollywood, Fangoria, Bloody Disgusting, sometimes Rue Morgue, just letting you know all the horror news, behind the scenes, all that type of stuff. I'm doing another show on Friday because I took a poll on my channel to see whether people would prefer a later show, an earlier show, or multiple times a week. And they most prefer the show to be later. So that's why I'm doing 10:15 tonight. But there was a segment that wanted earlier from around 3 to 5 p.m. So on Friday, I'm going to do a 3 to 5 p.m. showing as well. I am not publishing anything tomorrow because it's Juneteenth. So we're all resting on Juneteenth. But on Thursdays, generally I have What We Watched Last Weekend with Tony Man, where it's just a podcast about literally what we watched last weekend, because I watched so many movies. I'm sure Jen understands this, and Monty as well. There's not enough time to review everything we watch.
Nope. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just decided to do in a podcast format where we just talk about stuff without having to edit or anything like that. So that's every Thursday at 7 p.m. Do I have anything else? There's going to be another episode of Voice to the Bottom of the Barrel on the 25th, I believe. And Voice to the Bottom of the Barrel is a show where we talk about the worst of the worst movies with the goal of getting a perfect 0. Hopefully we will be able to get Jen and Velvet on for August.
Yeah.
We're still looking for you guys. The next show is going to be on Robot Jocks and Crash and Burn. The last show was my pick, and I chose Dangerous Feelings, which is a Tubi movie that is horrendous, and the Grinch That Stole Bitches. Also on Tubi.
An actual movie.
Yo.
Yes,
That's the actual movie.
Yeah.
How the Grinch Stole Bitches.
Yes. Do you know want to know the ones that I picked last time? Last time it was my turn. I picked the actor that got chased through the city, which is a thriller, which is loosely based on the night that Jonathan Majors got chased by his girl. I mean, I shouldn't laugh at this, but it's kind of funny the way he was running. But yeah, they made a movie on Tubi called The Actor That Got Chased Through the Streets based on that. And there's also a horror movie called African American Psycho, the Hip Hop Freak, which is loosely based off of Diddy. So it's like, imagine someone being Diddy.
Yeah.
I knew that. I was waiting for that to come out.
Yeah. Both on Tubi as well. But yeah, we choose the worst of the worst movies. But I think Jose is in the lead. That's Jose Prendez, who is Master Chaos TV. He chose a movie called No Shark. which of course it has no shark in it.
The
No
shark.
shark.
Yeah, and the worst is After Last Season, which is a movie so bad that they had pieces of paper where they just like drew stuff, whatever was supposed to be there, like a light switch, they would just draw it on a piece of paper and stick it onto the wall. Yeah, so he's in the lead with the lowest score with the worst movies. So I'm hoping if Jen and Velvet join us, what their movie picks are gonna be. Can you?
I got some dog shit. Yeah, I got some dog shit.
Very good.
Dog shit.
Yeah. Slap some shit on the screen.
All right, Jen Velvet, what's coming up on Jen's Reviews of the Grave?
There's a few things.
We have an actually pretty packed rest of the month. We're getting Tales from the Crypt, a couple of reviews and stuff. We'll be doing 28 Days Later and stuff. We also will be having, we haven't exactly locked down a set date, but sometime next week or the week after, we are having our big June Pride Month stream with Anthropomantic Fiend, Dice Rolling, and Thembo Cinema, talking about the original Sleepaway Camp and maybe the sequels if we have time, but mostly talking about it and how it's aged and all that all that sort of good stuff. So that's happening sometime next week. We haven't exactly got a proper date locked down, but hopefully next week.
And if anyone is asking, but why do we need Pride? I'm going to go on a little bit of soapbox, and I'll try to be quickly about this.
Okay.
Why do we need Pride? Because if you guys are a King of the Hill fan, this just happened. The actor that did John Redcorn, he happened to be and not only native but homosexual. And his fucking neighbors burned down their house. And when him and his partner were going to get the mail, they found that one of their dogs had been murdered, and they were grief-stricken as most any decent human being would, and their neighbors were doing shots, and he heroically pushed his partner out of the way and died saving his partner. That is why we do Pride. That is why we have Pride, people, until this shit stops. Enough. But I get and I'm not a poser. Like I'm a straight white woman, but damn it, I have a kid. I have other people that I love, and I just want this shit to stop. And those assholes. And if you don't like what I'm saying, get the fuck off my channel. Or not
Monty's channel.
I'm not on Monty, but if you want to
don't get off Monty's channel. But
no, not Monty. But no, seriously, that is why I've had some assholes saying, no, why are you guys doing it? Because we care, because this shit is still going on in the world. And that's one of many stories. Yeah. That's just the most recent one. I'm also on Friday getting off a hot subject. We're going to be doing Mob. I've been doing Summer of the Mob, and my friend Joey Nomad and the Souls Trenchcoat are going to be talking about the second season of The Sopranos. Also, we have a video. It hasn't been published yet, but we're very proud of it. That everybody is
talking about another disturbing movie, and what both of us consider to be one of the worst disturbing movies ever, which happened to come out this year, about Everybody's Gonna Die.
That's it. And we had a really good discussion, guys. We had a really good discussion. So that video
will probably be up in the next couple days. So,
and there's a few other things. So
if you guys haven't watched, you gotta check out Mobland.
Yes,
ooh, that's a good one for you guys to do. Yeah,
we'll probably do it after we're done. We've got a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
And sorry about the Mont, Ranty.
The rant, Monty.
We got you.
Hey, trust me, rant away, because I have the same feeling as well. If you got a problem with us celebrating Pride Month, then don't even know.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
All right, Sean, what's coming up on the Horror Corner?
Well, we have the Morbid Hour live stream coming out, and we're going to be talking all about the worst horror sequels of all time. Yes.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
I do have to defend the Howling 3, though. I love the Howling 3. I will admit it.
Yes, Howling 3 is art. The
marsupials.
The marsupials is great.
The marsupials is fantastic. There's so
I
much
would
love
not
about that
defend
movie.
So Sean,
man.
it had a great soundtrack. I imagine you're gonna. Well, that's not gotten.
That won't be out yet.
That won't be out yet. Okay, but it will be. I'm waiting.
There may be a couple of them on the list.
No, fuck you, Erskine. Howling 3 is great.
There should be
at
at
least
least
into this debate again.
There should be at least 4 Hellraiser, non-Hellraiser movies. That's what I call them.
Yeah,
those police procedurals that they shove Pinhead into sometimes.
Yeah.
Pin in the head in there. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh God, there's
God.
so many. The stepfather.
Oh, the
The
stepfather remake.
Oh,
that's
Sean!
That's a remake, though.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but
Like
still.
Oh,
remake.
guys
Yeah,
gotta-
remakes don't count.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
Okay.
gotta watch this remake on Tubi. It's called The Stepmother.
Oh,
Oh
I've
no.
heard of it.
I heard about that. I heard about that.
Yeah, I have two.
It's so bad. It's
I
good.
have-
It's starring Erica Mena, who's from Love and Hip Hop New York.
Doesn't it have a
Um,
couple sequels
So there's like
already?
3
Yeah.
of them already.
It
Yeah,
has
that's what I'm-
it has
yeah.
3. There's a
Jeez.
stepmother 1, 2, and 3, and there's now the stepdaughter and the stepdaughter too.
Of course there is.
Got a whole enterprise going.
I know. So hopefully I will have 28 years later coming up. We'll have the review on that. I have some trailer reactions that'll be coming up soon, and of course I have Predator Killer of Killers. It's on the channel. That review is up there. If you have not seen Predator Killer of Killers, you have to see it, especially if you're a Predator fan. Jen, I know Jen, you're not a Predator fan. I know that.
No, but my boyfriend
It's a
is.
good movie.
Ah, yes.
It's a good-ass movie.
So I swear
I saw
just
your
because
review.
my boyfriend-
Yes. So want to thank once again Lady Sasha for coming on. Want to thank everybody in the chat. And of course, as always, once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror Miser, Money G. And always remember that horror rules. All right, everyone, have a good night. And please stay safe out there.
Stay safe, people.
Yeah. Penis, love your penises.